What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories.
8 Chapter 181 The Summit War Ends. Pride New Era. Open black lens bracket. Subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Shouts of anger and pain resounded through the sky. Derived from Blonde Angel Old Star. Blood spattered from behind him. Dye the sky red. The angel behind him has 6 wings and 4 wings. 2 more wings loomed between Chi Yu's hands. At that moment before, Chi Yu's hands grabbed his angel wings and tore them apart. D boy, do you want to die? The blonde angel Lao Xing shouted angrily, and the 4 behind him suddenly stirred up. Trigger the boiling of the power of the 4 elements of earth, fire, feng shui, and change the color of the world. His words are full of power. However, his actions did not match his words. That posture with his back turned to Chi Yu and without turning his head was not the appearance of preparing to fight at all. Still, running away. The winged power of the Eudemon's angel filled the air, driving the strong wind, carrying the body of the angel Old Star away in an instant. However, Chi Yu's figure is 29 like a shadow. He didn't mean to let him go in the slightest. Tear. The bright red blood once again stained the sky. The white angel wings behind the blonde Old Star were reduced by 2 again. Only the last pair left. 2. Bring me the last pair too, it's just right, we need it for the banquet later. A playful arc appeared on the corner of Chi Yu's mouth. Stretch out your big hand. The last pair of wings of the blonde Old Star was about to be pulled down. At this time, whoosh, the blonde Old Star's speed suddenly soared to the limit. In an instant, Chi Yu's chi lock was broken away. This is naturally not his own speed. Instead, the samurai Lao Xing, who had recovered, mobilized his last strength to launch super acceleration on himself and the blonde Lao Xing. D. Arrogant brat, today's humiliation will be doubled in the future. Putting down the last harsh words, the figures of the blonde Old Star and the warrior Old Star disappeared without a trace. Gia how dare you say that? They are obviously 2 cowards who can run faster than rabbits. Golden Lion Shiki taunted. Cool la. Is this the world government 5 elders? It really opened my eyes. Advertisement. Whitebeard couldn't stop laughing too. Marine, world government, are you going to continue to fight? Even your 5 elders have fled. What a shame, that's your officer. That's the highest authority in the world. It's really ridiculous. The spirits and morale of the white group of pirates were boosted, and they ridiculed mercilessly. Damn Kong's old face was pitch black, and his expression was extremely gloomy. He was dissatisfied with the ugly appearance of the 5 elders running away, but he dared not speak out. After all, that was his immediate boss. While drinking angrily, Whitebeard slashed down with all his mighty blade wrapped around Conquerors and Shock. Slashed both Admiral Akainu and Commander-in-Chief Kong several tens of meters away. Boom. There was a loud bang. Chi Yu held 4 blood-stained wings and smashed them down. The broken naval headquarters trembled again and collapsed. Crash. The powerful overlord spirit once again swept the audience. It's really over this time, Marine. The red-haired Shanks spoke solemnly. Shocked the audience with its own powerful aura. Chi Yu didn't say anything. Just calmly standing side by side with the red-haired Shanks. The momentum of the 2 young overlords merged. It brings great pressure to the people on the entire battlefield. Gradually, someone dropped their weapon. Can't win. With such a lineup, how could it be possible to win? Even the 5 elders, the supreme power of the world government has fled. The morale of Marine's side fell to the bottom of despair. No matter who appeared this time, there was no way to save them. Gia if you don't want to fight anymore, then let's go. Golden Lion Shiki, who got Chi Yu's nod of approval, burst into the sky with a big laugh. He designated an area and motioned for the Whitebeard pirates to gather. Daddy, father, what about the boat? Everyone's ships were blown up. La, let's follow that old lion this time. Whitebeard waved the order. Advertisement. There is Captain Whitebeard's order. The pirates in Baituan no longer have any doubts. Climb to the area designated by the Golden Lion one after another. Gia get up. Golden Lion Shiki roared violently. Paramesha Lion Fruit is fully capable. That was already broken and broke away from the headquarters, soaring to the sky under the ability of Shiki. Garp, see you next time. Roger laughed and drew back. Roger, just wait for the old man. Garp gritted his teeth. Pluton Rayleigh, do you want to go on? Admiral Kazaru pouted and took the initiative to ask questions, already impatient to end. See you next time then. Rayleigh smiled slightly, standing shoulder to shoulder with Roger. The last Whitebeard and the captains of the White Regiment also left the battle one after another. Yamato 960 and Straw Hat Luffy returned to Chi Yu's side. Let's go. Chi Yu waved his hand. Turn around and leave first. Ooh, everyone in the red group responded in unison. And this brand new era is named Pride. At the same time, it also heralds the birth of a new era of rampage. It heralds that the biggest war of this era has come to an end. Island fragments full of white group pirates and members of the New World subsidiary group. This should be my line. This new era will be unprecedented. The sunshine finally fell on the dilapidated ruins soaked in blood and fire. Heralds the end of an old era dominated by Whitebeard. Only Captain Shanks with his right hand half raised and embarrassed face remained. An unprecedented Super Sea alliance will be formed. Golden Lion's own lion boat, Red Force and Mianyang Melee on the coast took off one after another. The red-haired pouted, with a resentful expression on his face. As the huge floating sky island goes away, everyone in the world knows it. Under the Golden Lion's lion fruit ability. Then land on the floating sky island above naval headquarters and fly away from Marineford. The broken Moby DK of the Whitebeard pirates. Advertisement Chapter 182 Naval Headquarters sinks into the sea. 5 elders and IM. Open black lens bracket subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Naval Headquarters, Marineford. A great battle left this glorious centuries-old base dilapidated and on the verge of destruction. Now that the pirates are leaving one after another. The skies over Naval Headquarters are still gloomy. Up to Marshal Sengoku, down to ordinary elite seamen. They were all downcast, sitting on the ruins with a slumped face. Morale throughout Naval Headquarters is at its worst. This is a top battle. They lost. Completely defeated. Lost in a mess. The war that gathered all of Marine's forces was finally defeated. Although they were not defeated by the Whitebeard pirates. In this war, there have been too many unexpected variables. But defeat is defeat. The world will only remember the result of their marine defeat. A heavy haze hangs over the hearts of every sailor on the field. All because of that arrogant man. That will be the nightmare of this world, this new era. The elite officers and academies of Marine can already imagine. What a hell the next new era of Berserk will be. Attention everyone. There is no time for sentimentality. Immediately retreat to the warship with all the wounded. The voice of Grand Admiral Vice Admiral's Crane rang through the sky over the battered naval headquarters through the phone bug. Regarding Vice Admiral Crane's sudden instruction, the sea soldiers who were immersed in grief could not help but look confused. However, the next second, they know why. Amidst the rumbling sound, another piece of the ruins of the headquarters sank into the sea and was swallowed by the raging waves. Hurry up and act. Retreat. The headquarters is about to collapse. The sailors shouted. Those who still had strength hurriedly carried the wounded to retreat. Only 10 minutes later, everyone, including the dead and wounded, was aboard the warship. Rumble. It seems to be aware that all the people on this land have left safely. Advertisement. The land of the mutilated naval headquarters sank into the sea with a rumbling sound. It has experienced the power of 14 top powerhouses of the sea pyramid. No island can bear it. Even naval headquarters Marienford is no exception. The once glorious naval headquarters has now become a thing of the past and no longer exists. Backquote. Oh. On the various warships, the cries and wailing of the sailors came and went one after another. An era has ended. Vice Admiral, he sighed faintly. Naval headquarters is gone and can be rebuilt. If the hearts of the people are scattered, then you really dare. Sengoku shook his head and sighed. It's not time to give up yet. Garp held his head high, and his eyes were clearer than ever before. It seems to have returned to the glorious years of galloping the sea more than 20 years ago. Roger, that B***************, I must personally arrest him and send him back. Garp clenched his fist and spoke firmly. Marshal Sengoku. The green-haired Commodore Brand came trotting in a hurry. Communications with the outside world have been restored, and now people from all over the world are asking us about the outcome of the war. What should we do? And there is one more thing. The outcome of the war is to be suppressed first. What else do you have? Sengoku waved his hand feebly, and a kid with a bell around his neck stood quietly beside him, opening his mouth to pull Sengoku's cloak from time to time. Report to the Marshal. Just now, the situation of Impel Down has been determined. Commodore Brandon hurriedly said, Is Magellan all right? Sengoku asked feebly. No, Director Magellan was seriously injured and is still being rescued. What I want to report is the tragedy on the 6th basement floor of Impel Down. Because of the Blackbeard gang's rioting, Impel Down was in chaos, and besides the few people Blackbeard took away, there are still many eternal hell murderers who have disappeared. Brandon said with a horrified expression. What did you say? Sengoku glared round again. It would be a disaster for the criminals on the 6th level of the underground to escape even if they just sneaked into a certain country. Now quickly determine the number and identity, and launch a wanted arrest to the world. Finish this sentence. Marshal Sengoku is like a deflated ball, instantly aging decades. Let's rest for a while. Vice Admiral Crane patted Sengoku's shoulder softly to comfort him. Red line, soaring into the clouds. There is the most prosperous capital city in the world, the holy land of Mariajoy. Advertisement. It is also the headquarters of the world government. At this time, in a certain glorious hall in the depths of the holy land Mariajoy. The old people who represented the highest power in the world frowned silently. Cough cough cough. A suppressed painful cough sounded in the dead white jade hall. The blonde old star's old face was pale. The blood-red back covered with bandages was shocking. Even after emergency treatment, the blood is still flowing continuously. Rao is the powerful resilience of the zone phantom beast species, and it is also invalid at this moment. Because what he injured this time was the main body. It is not Zone himself who bears the power of Zone's Eudemon's angel, but the 6 wings behind him. Now, of the 6 wings, only 2 remain. The blonde old star was seriously injured. To recover, I don't know how many years of rest it will take. However, compared to the old blonde star, at this moment, the situation of the warrior old star is even worse. Last of the last, hit in the face by Chi Yu's full-power spinning victory sword. His supreme sharp knife, first-generation ghost, has numerous cracks and is on the verge of disintegration. The five elders, with their aristocratic curly hair, gritted their teeth. However, the high temperature from the light cannon almost caused severe burns all over his body. And the elixir that almost brought Whitebeard back to life, and what was it? Who had it? One Piece Roger, Four Emperors Whitebeard, Golden Lion Shiki, Pluton Rayleigh, Redhead Shanks, and arrogant Chi Yu. He must evaporate under the power of the sun and cease to exist. The other three all nodded. Perhaps, it's time to ask Lord I Am for instructions. The old star in the dark blue suit opened his mouth coldly. Compared to his strength, I am more concerned about why Roger was resurrected. If it weren't for the blonde old star who helped in time at that time, and at the same time increased the blood with the angel's healing power. Who the hell is he? That arrogant B**********, without making a sound, has grown to this point, his strength leads as far beyond our prediction. It's going to get busy next time, this sea is about to usher in an unprecedented chaos in the history of 800 years. The five elders in black suits looked grim. A little later. Even though his body was not cut in half. This power has gone far beyond marine, beyond what we can control. Is it all made by that arrogant brat? Advertisement chapter 183. The sea is a sensation. The world shakes. Open black lens bracket. Subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Take place at Naval Headquarters Marineford, the greatest battle of our time. The result of the top battle affected the minds of everyone in the world. Four seas, Grand Line, New World. People in every country, every small island, and every village in the world are waiting anxiously. As the war over, how did it turn out? What happened to Ace the Firefist's execution? What happened to the Whitebeard pirates? They must have been wiped out. The headquarters won. The headquarters will never lose, right? What role did the red hair pirates play in this war? And that flying pirate, Golden Lion Shiki. It's been a long time since there was any news. What the hell are the journalists over there in Sabaody doing? People all over the world are anxiously awaiting first-hand news about Summit War. However, it has been a long time since the announcement from the world government and naval headquarters. This is also natural. After all, this war is Marine's complete defeat. Even naval headquarters sank as a whole. With such a tragic result, how could Marine explain it to the world? Finally, inform the world of the final war result. It is still the major news agencies that report the shocking events since the war. Even if they cannot accept the fact that Marine and world government were defeated. But facts are facts. All they have to do is tell the world the truth. 540. 3 hours after Summit War ended. The sun was setting. Dusk fell. Countless news birds flapped their wings and set off from the headquarters of various news agencies. With the piles and pieces of unprecedented reports of major events spread to all parts of the world, and the lights of thousands of families were extinguished. Then, the whole sea is shaking. The whole world trembles. Hey, what are you kidding? This is fake. It must be fake. Five emperors Chi Yu he defeated the Marine hero Vice Admiral Garp. Not only Vice Admiral Garp, but Marshal Sengoku, Marshal Sora, and even five elders were beaten and fled. Who will tell me that this is not true? It must be false. Am I dreaming? The uncrowned emperor arrogant Chi Yu, he is the new strongest brave in this world. Marine, actually lost. No, Marine's defeat is second, and now we should pay more attention to One Piece. This is Roger. One Piece Roger. The One Piece King Roger, who was publicly executed in Rogue Town 24 years ago, has come back to life. What will the world be like next? CJBJ. Advertisement. The era of great pirates. The new era is about to go berserk. A new era of unprecedented horror is coming. The world will end. All over the world, thousands of lights are on. No sleep today. Some people are sad and some are happy. East Blue Windmill Village. The bandit Dayton's family, who lived in the remote mountains of Corbo for a long time, dispatched a rare family to the only tavern in the village. Makino, take out all the alcohol in your shop. Ace and Luffy are fine, old man Garp is still alive. Today we're going to celebrate and celebrate. Bandit Dayton strode boldly like a proud hen. Good. Makino, a young bartender, as all smiles. East Blue, a Lois mining island. Ha. A bald tattooed old man wearing small black sunglasses suddenly burst out laughing. My brothers. Roger, you really are back. The starting point of the Grand Line, Twin Point. Crocus, the old man of the lighthouse, bathed in the light of the stars and the moon, reading the newspaper with relish. His old face was sometimes full of sadness, and sometimes he laughed happily. Captain Roger, welcome back. I really want to see you again. Grand Line Santin, Alabasta. Great. Kuru, that's great. Luffy and his big brother are safe and sound. Princess Vivi of Alabasta, who has long beautiful aqua blue hair, let out a long sigh of relief. Quack. Royal Duck Captain Kuru fluttered his wings and quacked. Compared to Vivi's cheers, King Cobra and the others in the royal palace's main meeting hall are full of sadness at the moment. The sea, no, the world is going to be reshuffled. Crash. The strong wind swept the yellow sand, covering the sky and covering the earth. This is the island of White Clay, Baltigo. A mysterious island that does not exist on any map. At the same time, it is also the base camp of the world's worst organization, the Revolutionary Army. This moment, Revolutionary Army Headquarters Building, Combat Conference Room. The mysterious leader of the Revolutionary Army, Long, the Chief of Staff Sabo, the commanders of the 4 major armies. Advertisement. The large and small cadres of the Revolutionary Army gathered together. The atmosphere in the battle meeting room was serious and dignified. The above is the whole process of today's summit war. Terry, the intelligence control officer of the Revolutionary Army base, restored the entire war to the cadres through the telephone bug board report. Finished talking. A long silence followed. Unbelievable. The vice captain of the 5 emperors' red hair pirates, is he really that powerful? Even the vice captain is already so powerful, so the captain with red hair should. Koala, a revolutionary girl with short orange hair, murmured in shock. Little Koala, this man is special. Even the red-haired Shanks is far from being a match for his ship's mate. Bello Betty, the commander of the Eastern Army, dressed in a cardigan suit, said solemnly. Now the most important thing to pay attention to is One Piece. One Piece Roger is actually resurrected. And the means to bring Whitebeard back from the brink of death. Is this all the work of that arrogant man? Confederate Commander Lindbergh's eyes widened in shock. There's also Impel Down. I don't know if little Ivan has escaped. The commander of the Western Army, Impel Down's real first jailbreaker, the hot-eyed Titan S******** E. Mori spoke weakly. Dragon, what shall we do next? Marine and world government are now seriously injured. This troubled world is the best time for our Revolutionary Army to rise. Northern Army Commander Callis said in a deep voice. The first meeting room. Long Shensi, the leader of the Revolutionary Army, whose half-body exists in the shadows. The opportunity to overthrow the world government has appeared. It's time to act, next week. Long said in a deep voice. Mr. Dragon. At this moment, the young Revolutionary Army General Staff who had been silent for a long time suddenly stood up and interrupted the leader's magma. What's wrong? Sabo. Koala asked puzzled. Mr. Long, I want to. Sabo looked tangled and struggling. He wanted to speak, but his head was in chaos. The sporadic fragments of the past gradually surfaced after seeing the reports of Straw Hat Luffy and Fire Fist Ace. Intuition told him, there must be some kind of karma between him and those two people. For a long time, I want to go. Sabo spoke. I see. Long Shen nodded. Advertisement chapter 184 Big Mom and all the beasts are shocked. Open black lens bracket subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. The second half of the Grand Line, New World. Wangguo Toto Land, the Central Cake Island. This is the base camp of Big Mom Charlotte Linlin, one of the Sea Emperors of the New World. The peaceful Cake Island is shrouded in the singing and dancing of various creatures every day, and it looks extremely joyful. The Big Mom Pirates, who rule the apex of the sea, are number 1 in the world in terms of intelligence. Long before the news reports of various newspapers were released, the shocking event that happened in the Naval Headquarters Summit War had already been introduced into the Wangguo area through various channels and was known to the clerk of the Big Mom Pirates, Mundle. Mom, something big, something urgent is happening. The 19th son of the Charlotte family, Mondor, the cheese minister, rushed into the central afternoon tea courtyard of the Cake Castle with a panicked face. Mondor, what a shame to yell. The long-legged beauty and paddler Star Smoothie, one of the 4 generals of the Charlotte family, scolded. Mondor, it's mother's happy afternoon tea time, I'll talk about what's going on later. The eldest son of the Charlotte family, Minister of Confectionery Perospero reprimanded him. Well, yes, today is a special day. The war between the old man Whitebeard and Marine should have already begun. It would be great if both sides suffer. I can't wait to know the result. 4 Emperors Charlotte Linlin laughed. Hey, Mondor, the big event you want to report to me must be about the war, if not. A red light flashed in Charlotte Linlin's big eyes, and the meaning was already very obvious. If it is not related to the big event of Summit War, but to interrupt her happy afternoon tea time, the consequences will be very serious. Gudong. Mondor swallowed hard, nodded in affirmation and said, yes, Mom, it is indeed about war. Really, the result will come out so soon, come and listen. Charlotte told Linlin with great interest. Yes, Mom, it's just that there have been many terrible changes in this war. Mondor was stunned. Then tell me, Mondor. 4 Emperors Big Mom is intrigued. Not long after the war started, Chi Yu, the deputy captain of the Red Hair Pirates, appeared on the naval headquarters battlefield and defeated the Marine Marshal and Marine Hero at the right time. Wow, there was an uproar in the afternoon tea garden. Not just the arrogance of the Red Hair Pirates, shortly thereafter, the flying pirate Golden Lion Shiki of the previous era also appeared, and then the former Roger Pirates deputy captain Pluden Rayleigh. Mondor said loudly, damn it, when I heard that the 2 legendary pirates, Golden Lion Shiki and Pluden Rayleigh, also joined the battle. The cadres of the Big Mom Pirates in the afternoon tea garden were all shocked. It's not just that, everyone, the next unfolding is already groundbreaking. Mondor was horrified. Mondor, calm down and speak slowly. Katakuri said quietly, yes, Katakuri big brother. Montour took a deep breath, nodded heavily, and then continued. After Golden Lion Shiki and Pluden Rayleigh, One Piece Roger is resurrected on the top battlefield. Mondor yelled, what did you say? One Piece. Advertisement. Roger B asterisk 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 D. Hey, even if it's a joke, there should be a limit. One Piece Roger died 22 years ago. How can the dead come back to life? Perospero, Dafu, Owen and other cadres of the Big Mother group were all shocked at this moment. But facts are facts. In addition, Whitebeard, who was already on the verge of death, suddenly came back to life, returned to the top, and the next. In the middle of Montour's speech, Mandy stopped abruptly. Boom boom boom. The quiet and peaceful afternoon tea garden suddenly shook violently. The minister of Charlotte's family, all the stars turned their attention to four emperors Charlotte Linlin who was the first. There was extreme shock and fear on every face. Shocked by the amazing news from Mondor. Fear of the terrifying aura of the captain's mother. Well, goddamn Roger, it's been a long time. Four emperors Big Mom Charlotte Linlin every word. The old man had a daunting look of terror on his face. New World, Wanokuni, Oni Island. Four emperors beasts pirates base camp. Click. A huge bolt of lightning fell from the sky. Illuminates the dark Skull Island. A large knife hundreds of meters pierced the frontal ground of Skull Island. Under the light of the electric light, it reflects the cold light. The majestic Onishima Palace. Cheerful singing echoed among the small bridges and flowing water. If I get thinner, I'm more handsome, so should I lose weight? It was the third in command of the Beast's pirates, and Plague Quinn was singing, dancing, and rapping. Woo! Not far away from the central skeleton hall of Ghost Island, there was a complex sound that seemed to be crying but not crying, smiling but not laughing. During the period, there was also the sound of the gurgling of liquor entering the throat. It was the drunk Kaido of the beasts, the Emperor of the Sea, going berserk. A week ago, the captain and deputy captain of Red Hair Pirates descended on the island of ghosts. The two shocked the entire beast group. Lose his face. Ask for flowers, 0. At that time, it was under the pressure of Chiyu at noon. As unruly as Kaido of the beasts had to grit their teeth and suffer from this dumb loss. But Kaido, who has always been scheming, naturally won't give up on this. That day, he just took action. After decades, I got in touch with my former close partner, Big Mom Charlotte Linlin. After several days of negotiations. Advertisement. Eventually an alliance agreement was reached. After alliance with Big Mom Pirates. The defeated Kaido suddenly became proud again. Even if it is to tear up the agreement with Chiyu and Shanks that day. Massively gather people and horses. The day before the summit war, they were dispatched suddenly. Want to re-implement the plan to annex the Whitebeard pirates. However, Kaido never thought about it. Redhead Shanks is still guarding him. The moment he takes action. Immediately, he appeared to stop him. 0. What a coincidence. The time when the two sides encountered happened to be at noon again. At that time, the redhead just pointed to the cabin and said a word. My mate is sleeping soundly now. If I wake up, the consequences will be very serious. Then, Kaido is from the heart. Without further ado. He returned to his hometown with his subordinates and gave up the attack. When he recovers, it is too late to figure out some meaning. Kaido had no choice but to smash his teeth and swallow in his stomach again, eating the loss of being dumb. I drank a day of boring wine in the island of ghosts. A slightly immature shout sounded. Yo, royalist. Jack and Quinn greeted the petite secretary wearing a no mask in front of him. Something has happened. Hurry up and wake up Kaido-sama, the battle at naval headquarters has taken unexpected turns. The little secretary, Bao Huang, let out an anxious and horrified cry. Hey, don't be so exaggerated. Plague Quinn spoke indifferently. The situation will only be 100 times more exaggerated than you imagined. Beast's pirate's second in command, Flame Calamity, appeared at an unknown time. Oh, idiot Jin, what are you doing? You startle me. Plague Quinn patted the fat on his body. There is no time for you to play tricks, hurry up and see Mr. Kaido, stupid Quinn. Yan Calamity Ember spoke coldly. Not long. The three major disasters of the 100 beasts came to the central hall with the secretary Bao Huang. Hey, Jin, Quinn, Jack are all here, hurry up and sit down and have a drink with Lousy. Kaido of the beasts spoke drunkenly. Master Kaido, just now, there has been information from the naval headquarters summit war that One Piece Shire D. Roger has been resurrected. Nani. Talent. Advertisement Chapter 185 Kaido panicked. Post-war celebration banquet. Open black lens bracket subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. What did you say? One Piece. Roger. Hasn't that B asterisk 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 D been dead for 20 years? The voice of Kaido of the beasts raised more than 18 degrees echoed in the skull hall. Are you kidding me? How can the dead come back to life? Also screaming were Plague Quinn and Jack the Drow who arrived later. Roger has indeed reappeared on that battlefield. The exact reason is unknown, but there is a lot of evidence that it all has something to do with the arrogance of the Red Hair Pirates. Flame Calamity Ember spoke solemnly. Arrogance. Arrogance again. Why is that B asterisk 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 D again? Kaido of the beasts, eyes were wide open with a ferocious expression. Master Kaido, this is not the only thing that matters right now. Bao Huang was so panicked that he was at a loss. Is there anything more outrageous than the resurrection of Roger the Pirate King? Plague Quinn had a 977 expression on his face. No, this is scary in another sense. This naval headquarters summit war has formed the strongest pirate alliance in history. Arrogant Chi Yu, red-haired Shanks, One Piece Roger, Four Emperors Whitebeard, Pluton Rayleigh, and Golden Lion Shiki. These 6 people may have been completely linked together. Emperor Bao exclaimed. The voice fell. The huge skeleton hall instantly fell into deathly silence. What did you say? Plague Quinn completely broke the sound. Frightened by this possible news, the eyeballs burst out of the goggles. Kaido of the Beasts, who was drinking himself, was also choked. The last time it was just Chi Yu and Hongfa was enough. It was hard to win over an ally of the same level. I thought it would be smooth sailing from then on. It can be fearless of any force in the sea. But now. Damn, you told me that the opponent's number of Emperor-level powerhouses has been upgraded from 2 to 6. This is a fart, if it is really a full-scale war. I'm afraid it will be over with one charge. Also. Kaido of the Beasts will not forget. The original lord of this Wanokuni that he occupies. Kazuki Oden, whom he shot in a frying pan 18 years ago. He has been in the Whitebeard Pirates and the Roger Pirates. It is the common partner and brother of the 2 monsters. Advertisement. In the past, for various reasons, he was never liquidated. But today is different. Mr. Kaido, what should we do next? Jack the Dro, who has always been the most stubborn, is also cowardly and sincere now. After all, those are powerhouses at the level of the 6 Sea Emperors. If the other 5 people also set their sights on his ivory with Chi Yu and decide to make a pair for fun, then. Jack the Dro shuddered suddenly, and he didn't dare to think about it. Kaido, you must plan ahead, Ember said in a low voice. Come on, contact Linlin now. The whole sea is sensational and shaken by the results of the summit war. Shocked by the resurrection of the One Piece Roger. Panic because of the unprecedented runaway new era. At this moment, the floating islands of Golden Lion Shiki. People standing on the cusp are holding a grand banquet. Summit war is night. The moon and stars are rare. The bright moonlight falls. The sea was sparkling. Somewhere in the sky in the first half of the Grand Line. A huge floating sky island is flying aimlessly and slowly, casting a large shadow on the sea. Occasionally there are merchant ships or pirate ships passing by on the sea, and they notice the giant floating island in the sky. Whether it is an ordinary businessman or a vicious pirate, they will all show horror in unison. Then immediately flee at the fastest speed. Before the summit war, the group of floating sky islands built by Golden Lion Shiki was just a legend in the sea. Only a few people occasionally saw it when they looked up. After the summit war, the group of floating sky islands in Golden Lion is no longer a secret. This is not just the home of Golden Lion Shiki. At the same time, it is also the base of the number 1 force in the sea. This moment, large Winter Island Central Banquet Hall. A grand banquet is in progress. As early as 2 days before the war started. All preparations for this celebration banquet have already begun. Because the outcome of today's war is already doomed. Everyone, let's start the happy banquet. The banquet king, Luffy, raised his hands high and let out an excited cry. Oh 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 oh. Everyone from the Red Hair Pirates including Fatty Lazyru and Usopp shouted in unison. For the Red Hair Pirates, parties are a regular occurrence. Can be opened anytime, anywhere. Access to emotions anytime, anywhere. The melodious pirate song echoed in the warm banquet hall. Advertisement. It added a bit of excitement and passion to this banquet. Yo ho 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 yo ho 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 ho. Bring Binks, wine to you. Like the sea breeze, ride the wind and waves at will. On the other side of the sea. Even the sunset is noisy. Bird song. Draw circles in the air. Goodbye Harbor Silk Township. Come sing a song, sailing song. Gold waves and silver waves also turned into water splashes. We go only because of the ocean. Driven by the atmosphere of Red Hair Pirates and Straw Hat Luffy. The people of the Whitebeard Pirates are also gradually entering the state. Pirates are good at banquets and celebrations. Although they also lost many partners in today's war. But now that the war is won, all they have to do is celebrate with their dead mates, that's all. The atmosphere in the banquet hall gradually reached its peak. Gia ha 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 ha, eat and drink as much as you want, food and wine are all enough for today. Golden Lion Shiki laughed loudly. This is the grand event I want to see. But with my ability, in my lifetime, no, even in the past, I have never organized such a luxurious lineup. But for the rest of my life, I have found peace of mind. The Golden Lion Shiki's expression gradually became firmer. Hu la 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 la, Shiki, you've already made an alliance with Chi Yu. Whitebeard laughed. No, Whitebeard is 3.9. The red-haired Shanks twitched his ears and quickly denied it. Okay, Whitebeard, Marco and the others were taken aback. The relationship between Shiki-san and my ship's mate is not just an alliance. The red-haired Shanks said pointedly. Not an alliance, what is that? Many people spoke subconsciously, as if Monk Jong-er was puzzled. Cool la 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 la. Whitebeard, who was the first to understand the red-haired voice, laughed even more Jong-yang. Ahahaha, so that's how it is. One Piece Roger and Pluton Rayleigh nodded in understanding. He, Captain Roger, Mate Lay, rounding up now, Mr. Shiki is also mine. Shut up, Redhead. Golden Lion Shiki gritted his teeth angrily. Ha 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 ha, everyone laughed. Advertisement chapter 186. 2 women compete. Khalifa and Hancock. Open black lens bracket subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. The melodious song of the pirates, Binks, fine wine lasted until 10 o'clock in the morning of the next day. This grand victory celebration banquet came to an end with the Whitebeard pirates. Although they won this war with the help of Chiyu and others, they still suffered heavy losses. After the celebration, the next thing they have to do is to return to the sea with their dead companions. Hoo la 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 la, Chiyu, let's have a banquet together next time. The wrecked bow of the whale, laughing boldly at Whitebeard the Poseidon. Then it's a deal. Chiyu grinned. Your Excellency Chiyu, goodbye. Mr. Chiyu, let's have a drink together next time. And the red hair pirates, Ace's father, Mr. Golden Lion Shiki also. Thank you very much this time. Marco, Joes, Beasta and other captains. Ice Witch Pei, Ranger Doma and other New World captains. Everyone bowed in unison to express their most sincere thanks. Hoo la 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 la, Chiyu, Roger, Old Lion, next time New World. Whitebeard raised his arm to 29. Gia ha 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 ha, Newgate, don't forget, you owe us a huge favor this time. Golden Lion Shiki laughed. I know. Whitebeard should be drunk. Gia ha ha ha, let's go. Golden Lion Shiki nodded in satisfaction. With a wave of his hand, 2 smiling whale ships and a dozen sailboats rented from Golden Lion all soared into the sky, drifting away towards the sun. Ace, Straw Hat Luffy trotted 2 steps, shouting at the top of his voice. See you next time, I will make you scared. Straw Hat Luffy waved his hands with all his might. Ace, goodbye. Yamato also waved goodbye. Okay. Ace nodded emphatically. Say goodbye to younger brothers Luffy and Yamato. He first looked at Chiyu and the red hair pirates, and bowed solemnly to thank them. Finally, Ace's gaze locked on Roger, with a complicated expression on his face. He opened his mouth, but still didn't say anything. Old man, is this really okay? Ace is leaving. Rayleigh patted Roger on the shoulder. Ahahaha, nothing serious, Roger said carelessly. He also has a responsibility that must be borne. Besides, as long as we are above the sea, we will definitely meet again. Roger smiled freely. Captain Roger, Mate Lay, let's start the second round of banquet. Redhead Shanks greeted happily. Oh, Roger responded loudly. Advertisement. Very good. Get started. Straw Hat Luffy and Red Hair Pirates all cheered. Ah, ow, then I'll go and rest for a while. Chiyu yawned. Everyone in Red Hair Pirates nodded in agreement. Firstly, it was because of yesterday's war, Chiyu went through repeated battles and consumed a lot. Secondly, and most importantly, it's not long before 11 o'clock. If only a little longer. They are the ones who should suffer. This point, everyone in the red group can still carry it clearly. On this side, Chiyu strode towards his room. On the other side, there were 2 people who left 1 step earlier than Chiyu. Ever since, in the room belonging to Chiyu, 2 beautiful women, each with its own merits, meet unexpectedly. Blonde glasses, what are you doing here? The pirate queen Boa Hancock is proud of Khalifa. The sweet fruit ability is activated quietly, under the charm of Boa Hancock's peerless face. Khalifa's fair and pretty face couldn't help but blush. The spirit almost fell. Next second, Khalifa bit the tip of her tongue, forcing herself to use the pain to wake herself up and get rid of the power of the sweet fruit. Compared to last time, it has improved a bit. Empress Hancock raised a corner of her mouth. I'm not afraid of you, Pirate Empress. Khalifa plucked up the courage to face Empress Hancock. Now I am Lord Chiyu's personal secretary, and the Lord has already entrusted me with all matters. So I will also accompany you during the adults' nap time. Khalifa raised his head to listen to the fierceness, and said as a matter of course. Nani, fit. Boa Hancock fell down on the tatami, looking shocked. Even if you are superior in strength, you are still far behind in terms of the relationship between men and women, Pirate Empress. Khalifa smiled smugly. What did you say? Empress Hancock's willow brows were erected, and she was about to go mad. Lord Chiyu is the man destined to be king. How can there be only one Wang's woman? So you who can't accept this are destined to be eliminated. Khalifa said. Empress Hancock's pretty face turned paler. At this time, squeak. Chiyu pushed the door open and entered. Looking at the 2 women in the room, he frowned slightly. Hancock, Khalifa, what are you doing? Advertisement. Chiyu asked not without surprise. Not because of the appearance of the 2 of them. It's because of the confrontation between Khalifa and Empress Hancock this time. Seems like Khalifa has the upper hand. The arrogant Empress Hancock was deflated. It's nothing, Master Chiyu, I'm just discussing with Sister Hancock about serving you together in the future. Khalifa pushed the glasses with her fingertips and smiled. Well, let's do it. Chiyu nodded. For things between women. He doesn't want to worry too much. Let them handle it by themselves. Ah, ow, Chiyu yawned. Lie down on the tatami. I'll go to bed first, you can do whatever you want. Chiyu said. Yes, Khalifa is happy to drink. Not long. In the quiet room, 793 only had the sound of Chiyu's steady and even breathing. Empress Hancock pressed her small face to Chiyu's bear's chest. She, who has always been strong, is still in a trance at this moment. What are you standing there for? Sister Hancock. Khalifa smiled. Okay. Empress Hancock looked up blankly. Master Chiyu said earlier, it's our time. Don't waste it in vain. As Khalifa spoke, she began to act on her own under Hancock's widening beautiful eyes. Now that things have happened, why are you pretending to be reserved? The sun was setting. I know. Mihawk, when did you come? Don't tell me. Chi-Yu let out a big lazy waste. Yeah, you must punish yourself. Not long. At dusk, Chi-Yu responded with a full mouth. Seeing Hancock stunned, Khalifa decisively started again. His gaze fell on a corner of the hall. Deputy Chi, it's too slow. 3 times, 5 divisions and 2 divisions are to help the Empress Hancock lose her reserve. After drinking the penalty drink, everyone in the red group booed. Chi-Yu returned to the banquet hall. Chi-Yu pushed the door straight out. Help Khalifa and Hancock, good sisters who love and embrace each other, tuck in the quilt. Advertisement Chapter 187 Hawkeye Mihawk challenges One Piece Roger open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Yo, Mihawk, when did you come? Chi-Yu greeted her familiarly. Not so long ago. Mihawk nodded calmly. Left naval headquarters yesterday. Mihawk did not leave with Chi-Yu. He is also a Shichibukai for the time being. Nor did he completely tear himself apart from Marine-like Boa Hancock. So, after the war, Hawkeye Mihawk just left normally in his own coffin boat. Following the direction of the life card, I finally caught up with the floating sky island this afternoon and landed next to the Golden Lion Shiki. Ha. Come, Mihawk, you're welcome, enjoy the banquet. Chi-Yu strode up to Hawkeye and clinked a glass of wine. Ahahaha, Chi-Yu has drunk this glass of wine, it's up to me next. Redhead Shanks stepped forward, laughing. Followed by Beckman, Usopp, Raziru and other high-ranking members of the Red Group. Everyone took turns. Hawkeye was so dazed, even the original purpose is almost forgotten. Until nightfall, Hawkeye Mihawk hiccuped and came back to his senses. No, Chi-Yu, Shanks, you 2 bastards almost forgot my original purpose. Hawkeye's rare molars. Ahahaha, Mihawk, didn't you come to our banquet? Redhead Shanks asked of course. This is only second, my main purpose this time is to learn from each other. Hawkeye Mihawk spoke solemnly. Discuss. With me. Ahahaha, come on. The red-haired Shanks drew the knife wobbly. Then he was ignored gorgeously by Hawkeye. I see. Chi-Yu nodded, silently picked up the sun-sacred sword. Then it was also gorgeously ignored. Hawkeye Mihawk's sharp eagle eyes finally locked on the One Piece King Roger. Roger, who was having a drink with the old guys, noticed Hawkeye's warlike gaze. Hi, Roger belched and pointed to himself. Hawkeye nodded calmly. Advertisement. Let's fight, One Piece Roger. 22 years ago. At that time, Mihawk was a young Mihawk who was budding in the sea. He and the proud sons of that era, Doflamingo, K-Lock Doll, Gecko Moria and others witnessed the execution of One Piece Roger in Rog Town. The only man ever to conquer the Grand Line made a huge impression on young Hawkeye. Later, young eagle-eyed Mihawk meets equally young redhead Shanks. Although Hawkeye did not agree to the red-haired Shanks' partner invitation. But the two also formed a deep bond because of the sword. They compete with each other several times almost every year. It wasn't until that year that the redhead lost his left arm in East Blue. But in those years of acquaintance, Hawkeye Mihawk also learned many stories about One Piece's past from the red-haired Shanks. Especially the superb swordsmanship and kendo of One Piece Roger. I don't know how many times Hawkeye has been fascinated by it, and I wish I could live in the same era as him. Now, fate gave him this opportunity. Or rather Chi-Yu gave him the chance. Roger, the One Piece who died 22 years ago, is resurrected. This time, Hawkeye Mihawk here, not for other. I just want to fight Roger, the former great swordsman. Gee ha, Mihawk boy and Roger bastards. Interesting. Really interesting. Golden Lion Shiki laughed gloatingly. About 2 months ago, Chi-Yu and Hawkeye descended from the sky and came to his floating sky island. Before confronting Chi-Yu, Golden Lion Shiki first fought a battle with Hawkeye, the #1 kendo of this era. Hawkeye's sword is terrifying and powerful, Golden Lion Shiki knows best. Just talk about the state of the sword. Hawkeye Mihawk, the junior, has already surpassed him, far above him. Even at the peak of his youth, he couldn't match it. It's just that Hawkeye is #1 in the world in this era, so how does it compare to the monster Roger? How does Hawkeye's slash compare to Roger's elusive move? The corners of Golden Lion's mouth opened in an arc, and there was a rare expectation in his heart. Can't wait to see the two fight. Golden Lion isn't alone in thinking the same way. Advertisement. Mihawk and the boss's boss. As the world's #1 in this era the same as the world's #1 in the previous era. This is really a grand event that is rarely seen in thousands of years. Will Roger, the One Piece agree? Everyone in Red Hair Pirates was in high spirits. Ahahaha. All attention. One Piece Roger smiled foolishly. Okay, he nodded in response. As it happens, I'm also interested in what Shanks refers to as the pinnacle of kendo in this era. The lively banquet hall was soon empty. The Red Hair Pirates and the Fatian group cheered together and came to the spacious floating sky island square. The battle between great swordsmen has always been clean and tidy, and it is easy to fight. There will be no slight sloppy side of the square. The corners of the world's #1 swordsman Mihawk's mouth rose slightly. His right foot took a sharp step forward. Then he took a deep breath, gradually closed his eyes, and then opened them suddenly. That pair of eyes that were as sharp as a falcon suddenly revealed a powerful sword force. Fighting intent mixed with sword intent soared up to the sky. A ruthless wind blew within a radius of 1 kilometer. Clang. The supreme sword, Haidao Yi, unsheathed at the sound. Consciously or unintentionally, his eyes glanced at Chi Yu, who was carrying a wine jug outside the court. Hawkeye Mihawk's eyes grew brighter. The people watching the battle from a distance couldn't help being amazed. Watching this amazing scene, looking at the sword-like figure standing more than 100 meters away, Roger couldn't help nodding in praise. Hawkeye Mihawk spoke calmly. Hawkeye Mihawk, the world's #1 swordsman in this era, is really amazing. The kendo battle between the world's #1 swordsman and the pirate king Roger begins here. Constantly surging, as if boiling. Even if you are a junior, I won't hold back anything. I'm no longer #1 in the world. The terrifying sword force suddenly swept across the sky, causing the clouds in the sky to split apart without a sound. Had it? Roger grinned. I see. It could not be better. Roger nodded knowingly. Advertisement Chapter 188 Hawkeye vs. Roger. The new highest reward in the world. Open black lens bracket. Subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Swish. Hawkeye Mihawk moved, and the black knife in his hand swung away. A simple slash, but it came with a piece of darkness, pressing towards Roger. You can reach such a state at this age, you are a man born for the sword. Feeling the powerful sword intent permeating Hawkeye's body, Roger couldn't help but marvel. Gia ha ha ha, Roger, this eagle-eyed boy is far more than that, because if you relax too much, you will suffer a lot. In the sky, Golden Lion Shiki laughed and reminded. He who has personally experienced the sword of Hawkeye Mihawk knows it clearly. Hawkeye Mihawk's knife is so much more than that. Really. Just when Golden Lion Shiki's voice fell, there was a sudden change in the field. A bright ray of light was born in the night that was engulfed by the supreme sword, Haidoe. Belonging to Mihawk, the true power of the sword explodes. It was a shining light that could not be blocked by the entire night. The night is torn apart by the bright knife light. Then, with an oppressive force several times that of that night, it pressed down towards Roger 260. The void buzzed endlessly under this knife. As expected of the world's #1 in this era. With a bright smile on Roger's face, he admired from the bottom of his heart. Gia ha 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 ha. In the sky, Golden Lion Shiki laughed, a slightly forced smile. Looking at the knife that was more fierce and powerful than the previous confrontation with him. Even a veteran swordsman like Golden Lion Shiki had to obey. Indeed, there is only one like Hawkeye who is obsessed with the sword all his life. Only a pure swordsman who devotes all his energy to improving the way of the sword can reach such a state. Others, like him, have the ability of devil fruit. But he couldn't do anything without distractions. Just when Golden Lion Shiki shook his head and sighed. Roger also shot, facing Hawkeye Naruto's overwhelming Zan Yoruichi sword. Roger didn't perform his evasion stunt. It's just a simple knife-to-knife contact and confrontation. Boom. Roger's supreme sword, Ace, meets Mihawk's supreme sword, Knight. It was clearly the clash of two knives, but it was not the sound of golden iron, but a dull sound like a war drum. The sound lasted only for a moment. Immediately afterwards, there was a rumbling roar between heaven and earth. Advertisement. The air around the two great swordsmen exploded like cannonballs. A flickering knife light emanated from the blades of the two black knives, cutting the earth to pieces. After arriving, even the solid void gave birth to a series of dark cracks. It represents the space cracking under their sharpness. Finally, a dazzling brilliance bloomed at the very center of the collision. Take over people's field of vision. On the line of heaven and earth, everything is silent. I don't know how long it has passed. The buzzing in people's ears gradually dissipates. The unknowingly palpitating terrifying sword fight also tended to subside. Island battlefield. Both Roger and Hawkeye retreated unconsciously. Leave footprints several feet deep on the ground. In the end, the two retreated 7 steps each. Crack clap clap. There was thunderous applause. Hey, Mihawk and the boss's boss are awesome. Wonderful. All the red hair pirates shouted in unison. Mihawk pursed his lips. Nothing to be complacent about being evenly matched with Roger. He had been preparing for the previous knife for a long time. For a great swordsman like him. Although there is no distinction between big and small tricks. However, the blow that had been prepared before was basically regarded as the strongest manifestation of his current strength. However, CJAI was still easily blocked by Roger. Even if he has already reached the pinnacle of swordsmanship in this world. But there is still a big gap between him and the strongest people in this sea. Call. Hawkeye Mihawk let out a light breath, suddenly laughed and shook his head. What the hell am I thinking? What I pursue in this life is nothing more than the way of the sword. Whether the world is the strongest or not is meaningless in the way of swordsmanship. Hawkeye Mihawk whispered to himself. Well thought out. The mood is transparent. Jonshin is transparent. Advertisement. No more confusion. The light in his sharp eagle eyes became brighter. Come on, One Piece Roger. Hawkeye crosses the knife. Ahahaha. What an amazing junior. Roger couldn't help nodding appreciatively. Originally, he was still thinking of finding an excuse to end it. But after feeling the change in Mihawk's mood, he decided to accompany the young man to continue the sparring. Jingle. A dazzling kendo battle ensued. The sword fight between Hawkeye Mihawk and One Piece Roger lasted for 3 hours. Until the time goes into the night. This peerless duel finally came to an end. Hawkeye, who had learned a lot from the duel, immediately went to retreat to digest what he had learned. As for Roger, he rejoined the banquet. Time flies. Another day in the blink of an eye. A series of world-shocking big news triggered by the big event on the top is still fermenting. All over the world, countless people are discussing it. Along with the follow-up report of the big news, there is also the overwhelming new reward order that spreads to all parts of the world. Countless people talked about it. Marine and the government, who have been silent since the war, finally took action. Unbelievable, this is beyond the reward offered by One Piece Gall D. Roger. As a new king of the sea about to be born, the time comes to the third day after the summit war. New bounty for 4 emperors Whitebeard. The whole sea boiled again. Isn't this a matter of course, because the One Piece was resurrected by him? And the new highest bounty in the world, Chiyu's bounty for the uncrowned emperor. 666, 6 billion. Does Marine think he's a bigger threat than One Piece? Born from the dead, the heaven-defying resurrected and returned One Piece Roger's bounty order. Wow, the whole world is trembling very much. When the latest reward order is spread all over the world through Newsbird, it becomes known to the world. Chiyu, the uncrowned emperor, offers a bounty of 6,064,000,000 berry. What a terrifying bounty. Reward orders for the flying pirates Golden Lion Shiki and Pluton Rayleigh, who have faded out of the world for many years. Advertisement Chapter 189. The Golden Lion's Grief and Anger. Sleepwear Hancock. Open black lens bracket. Subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Early morning. Clear skies somewhere on the Grand Line. A large island floats slowly in the sky. This is the floating sky island of Golden Lion Shiki. This moment, the central hall of the island is noisy every day. Gia ha 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 ha, as expected of Chiyu, the first officer captain. This bounty is really gone. It's even taller than the boss's boss. That's 6 billion, there has never been a reward of 600 billion in this sea. Boss, you have to work hard. The people of Red Hair Pirates gathered in 2s and 3s. They were happily discussing the new reward order sent this morning. Quote. Looking at the world's highest reward order in his hand. Redhead Shanks opened his mouth. In the end, nothing could be said. Just shook his head with a wry smile. What is this called? As the captain, he was actually nearly 200 billion lower than the bounty offered by his own ship's officer. Besides, did Marine take the wrong medicine? How can there be a reward of nearly 3 billion suddenly raised? Compared with Chiyu's multiplication on the basis of 3 billion. Although the bounty of the red-haired Shanks has also increased. But this measly increase of 100 million is really a bit out of sight. Redhead Shanks isn't alone in his heartache over the bounty issue. The other side, looking at the new reward after he came out of the mountain. The smile on Golden Lion Shiki's face froze and disappeared. Instead, what emerges is entanglement and dissatisfaction. 3.844 billion. That was Marine's response after his high-profile debut at Naval Headquarters to announce his return to the world. A bounty of 3.8 billion is naturally an extremely high reward. Counting Hi-Hi over and over again, the only person who can surpass him is the Emperor of Hi-Hi. However, Golden Lion Shiki's expression at the moment was greatly dissatisfied. Because as early as more than 20 years ago, his reward had already reached 3.844 billion. This time the top event did not give him a single point. Simply intolerable. What made Golden Lion Shiki even more unbearable was that even this photo was more than 20 years ago. Obviously it was troublesome, so I refurbished the previous reward order and reissued it. B*********** D Marine, why doesn't this old man increase his bounty? I don't want to lose face. Fall. Golden Lion Shiki's veins swelled with anger, and he threw his new reward order to the ground. Okay, Shiki, you better calm down. If you really think it's too little, I don't mind sharing some of my bounty with you. In this way, I will have a better life in the future. Rayleigh looked at his reward order shaking his head. 3,356 million. It's 100 million more than before, not much. But worst of all was his face back in the public eye. In the future, I still want to be a film coder like I used to be, which probably won't work. Ahahaha. Advertisement. With a hearty laugh, One Piece Roger walked over carelessly. Turned around in front of the distraught Golden Lion Shiki. He didn't say anything. It's just that he inadvertently dangled his new high reward of 5.6 billion in front of Golden Lion's eyes. Damn Roger. Golden Lion Shiki gritted his teeth. I just feel that the whole person is going to explode with anger. Ahahaha. After teasing his old rival Golden Lion, Roger walked up to Rayleigh. Rayleigh, our meeting was indeed destined. Come with me to subvert the world again. Roger stuck his right hand out to Rayleigh. The words spoken were those of his first meeting with Rayleigh decades ago. Listening to these familiar words, Rayleigh only felt a rumble in his mind. With Roger's invitation, my mind went back to the young age decades ago. Relaxing on a stolen boat, he gets an invitation from a sunny boy wearing a straw hat. As now, it seems to be a reincarnation. 60 years ago he accepted Roger's invitation to change his boring fate. This time, it is still no exception. Rayleigh shouted back and took Roger's outstretched right hand. Roger. Ahaha. Rayleigh. Their eyes met, and the corners of Roger and Rayleigh's mouths became wider and wider. Amid loud laughter, the two hugged each other heavily. Uncle Roger and Rayleigh. Straw Hat Luffy tilted his head in confusion. In the next second, he was holding his 400 million new reward, and happily went to show off to everyone in the red group. What's wrong? It's so lively early in the morning. Chi Yu, who finished the early practice with Hancock and Khalifa, yawned and walked slowly. Deputy Captain Chi Yu, this time you are really number one in the world. All the red hair pirates gathered happily. Pass a new reward order to Chi Yu. Oh, he looked at the first reward order that belonged to him. Chi Yu couldn't help but narrowed his eyes and nodded in satisfaction. Let's say this photo is not bad. Chi Yu nodded. This is your focus. Everyone in the red group staggered and nearly fell down. Ha ha, Chi Yu smiled. He wasn't particularly happy or dissatisfied with his new world highest reward record. Everything is normal and taken for granted. After all, it is not difficult to increase the bounty. This time it's naval headquarters. Next time go directly to attack the Holy Land Mariajoy. I'm afraid the bounty will directly exceed 10 billion. Certainly, if it's not really idle panic. Asking for flowers. Advertisement. Chi Yu will not really mark Mariajoy. After all, the water there is very deep. There are unknown weapons and powers. The 5 old men with the highest power on the surface of the world government are nothing more than that. Not a big deal. The real problem is that in the deepest part of the flower there is still the king of the world, I am. A new day begins. The banquet did not continue. The present after the era change war. The entire Grand Line is on the verge of going berserk. Especially New World. Chaos has arisen. As one of the 4 sea emperors, the red hair pirates naturally wanted to return to their own territory to guard. Leave Luffy's words to me. Next, I'll take Luffy back to Sabaody and talk to Shaki about how to convey the message to the Straw Hat crew. Rayleigh spoke. As early as 2 days ago. He had already discussed it with Straw Hat Luffy. Let him practice for another 2 years and go to New World after he becomes stronger. To this, Straw Hat Luffy agreed after a brief struggle. Knowing that Luffy really will go to New World in 2 years, the red-haired Shanks couldn't help but secretly sigh. Because he thought of the heartfelt voice he had heard from Chi Yu. Ahahaha, then we will go back first. Speaking of which, Chi Yu, are you really not going with us? Asked the red-haired Shanks standing on the bow of the Red Force. Go back first, I have to go to another place and pick up someone. Chi Yu waved his hand. That's it. Shanks nodded without pressing. He turned to look at Roger. Where's Captain Roger? Not going to New World. Not for now, I want to go to South Blue next time. Roger said, based on information received from Garp. Rouge was buried on the edge of a cliff on that island, still waiting for him. Rayleigh and Straw Hat Luffy return to Sabaody. And I will go back with Ace in the future. Tequila Wolf. Roger goes to South Blue. It's not clear what the world government wants to do to vent its anger on 9 snakes. But in the end, Chi Yu succeeded in falling asleep. Naturally, Golden Lion Shiki will not have any dissatisfaction. The next goal is the kingdom on the bridge of East Blue. Several. The remaining Golden Lion Shiki was arranged by Chi Yu to escort Boa Hancock back to 9 snakes, and temporarily waited in 9 snakes. Free time. But Boa Hancock is completely unacceptable. The red hair pirates returned to the New World. He had to go back and say, I'm back, no matter what. For Chi Yu's arrangement. After all, Boa Hancock has basically lost his identity as a Shichibukai now. Meili the sheep set sail again, carrying Chi Yu, Khalifa and Yamato back to the sea. Advertisement Chapter 190 Yamato's girl heart awakens. Robin's situation. Open black lens bracket subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. The night was dark. A white line streaked across the endless blue sea at an extremely fast speed. It was a small sloop. Under the boat is a sea king's known for its moving speed. Ah, so boring, so boring. On the observation deck of the sailboat, Yamato, a girl in a wide Yamato suit, hugged her knees with her hands, looking bored. Before, Yamato is only interested in everything about Kazuki Odin. Crazy excavation of what idol Odin has been through in the past. Now, one more person interested in Yamato. Naturally it is Chi Yu. He wants to know what ability Chi Yu is. Want to know how the One Piece Roger was resurrected. Wondering what was the elixir that brought Whitebeard back to life. She desperately wants to know everything about Chi Yu. However, there has been no chance. At the 203rd banquet a few days ago. Even the red-haired Chi Yu, who is Chi Yu's closest partner, didn't explore too much. Tacit understanding. The reason behind Roger's resurrection was not asked. Naturally, she couldn't open her mouth to say anything more. After finally finding an opportunity to continue to follow Chi Yu on the sea adventure. Yamato wanted to seize this opportunity to have a good communication with Chi Yu. Result. The whole day is down. She hardly even saw Chi Yu's face. The room where she could have stayed overnight. It doesn't belong to her now. You can't even go in and have a look. She is like an abandoned pet. I could only curl up on the observation deck and sigh. Oh, think here. Yamato sighed again. The beautiful eyes fell on the cabin below. Listen to some faint voices coming from it. Yamato looked complicated. Are the games for grown-ups so fun? Yamato pouted. Although the body has already matured. But psychologically, Yamato is still a child mentality. Of course Yamato is not a pure white like Hancock. I have been in the island of ghosts for so many years. She also saw many pictures by accident. After all, there is a courtyard for wandering girls in the island of ghosts. However, she was the sequelae of playing the manly Odin all the year round. Advertisement. Let Yamato subconsciously think that he should not like men, but women. In addition, none of the group of beasts on the island of ghosts can see past it. Over time, after passing the puberty period, Yamato lost interest in men. The words of Ace 2 years ago were barely noticeable. It's just that Yamato at that time only regarded Ace as his brother. Naturally, there will be no other ideas. Yamato thought that he would probably be alone for the rest of his life. No special affection for men or women. However, at the moment, drink the wind alone in this lonely night. Listening to the indistinct sound mixed with the wind. The figure of Chi-Yu appeared in her mind unconsciously. A strange emotion followed and spread to her limbs. The female part of her gradually awakened. Mr. Chi-Yu. Yamato's breathing was slightly short of breath. The white slender hands unconsciously. I don't know how long it has been. Call. Yamato let out a long breath. She raised her white and slender hands to the bright moon in the sky. 5 fingers open. In the light of the moon. There are drops of crystals reflected between the fingers. At this time, what's wrong? Chi-Yu's voice suddenly rang in Yamato's ear without warning. Wow. Hearing this familiar voice, Yamato panicked and was at a loss for a while. He quickly wiped his fingers on his clothes and sat up straight. Pieces of red clouds flew over her fair and pretty face. In the end, even the snow-white neck was dyed. The vigil has worked hard. Leave it to me for the rest of the night. Go and take a good rest, Yamato. Chi-Yu smiled and sat down opposite Yamato. No hard work, no hard work, Mr. Chi-Yu is the one, you should have a good rest. Yamato waved his hands again and again, as if pointing. In the end, the voice is getting lower and lower. The little head is also lowered more and more, not daring to look up. Chi-Yu grinned and smiled dumbly. But soon it was back to normal. The atmosphere on the observation deck then quieted down. Good moment. The rosy color on Yamato's face receded. Advertisement. Mr. Chi-Yu, what's up? Can I ask you a few questions? Yamato decided to divert his attention. Ask, but I don't guarantee that you will get the answer you want. Chi-Yu put her hands behind her head, looking at the bright moon in the sky. It's okay, I'll just ask. Yamato waved his hand. Deng even took out a small notebook from the space of justice in front of him. Chi-Yu glanced at it, and his eyelids twitched slightly. Do you think there is a bottomless pit? How to hide things in there? Then it will begin. Yamato is like a reporter. Start interviewing one by one according to the questions recorded in the small notebook. Time passed little by little. Marry the sheep, hauled by the sea kings across the calm belt, the great East Blue Sea. This moment, Kingdom of East Blue Laborers, Tequila Wolf. Here is a country on a bridge, or the country itself is a bridge. Construction of this bridge began 700 years ago. Most of the countries are people and criminals from countries that refuse to join the world government. Under the orders of the world government celestial dragons, people are forced to laboriously build bridges every day. Lived a life of slavery that never saw the light of day. About half a month ago, this icy and snowy kingdom on the bridge ushered in an alien visitor. That was Nico Robin, an archaeologist from the Straw Hats who was shot all the way here by the power of the Shichibukai tyrant bear in the islands of Sabaody. With outstanding abilities and rich experience in the underground world. Robin, who had just arrived, quickly found the whereabouts of the guards. Relying on my own ability and the help of kind little girl prisoners. Robin lurked here quietly, 2.8 waiting for an opportunity to escape. During this period, the newspaper she brought through the little girl. Learn about major events happening outside. Learn about the war between the Whitebeard pirates and Marine. There is also the Captain Luffy who appeared in the war and the first man who broke into his heart. I am happy. Robin's daily actions are also increasingly vigilant. It's just that no matter how careful she is. However, accidents cannot be avoided. Long latency. It is impossible for her to completely eliminate traces of her existence. It is even more impossible for everyone who knows their existence to keep this secret perfectly. Finally, under the strict investigation of the guards, Robin, who had been lurking for half a month, was finally discovered. The situation gradually reached the worst situation. Advertisement Chapter 191 Robin is in danger. Chi-Yu is coming. Open black lens bracket subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Kingdom on the bridge, Tequila Wolf. Heavy snow clouds linger all year round. The sky was white with snow. The earth is covered with silver. The beautiful picture disintegrated under the rush of footsteps. Teams of heavily armed National Guards were dispatched. Look for rats lurking in the dark. Go. Stop dawdling. How dare you harbor intruders privately? What audacity you slaves are. Today is not the end of it. The ferocious guards pushed and shoved several women and children. Even if the little girl fell to the ground, she still dragged her mercilessly. Finally came to the square on the bridge. It is different from the snow white in other regions. The ground in the square area is black and red. Even though it was covered by heavy snow, there was still a cruel dark red. This is a phenomenon that only occurs in areas where executions are carried out all year round. For 700 years, the bridge has been extended. This execution square has been following 29. For 700 years. I don't know how many bloods of those who tried to resist were soaked. The black and red soil is the blood and heroic soul that have never been dried up by the predecessors. Lord Saris, everyone has been brought here. A soldier bowed respectfully to the fat-headed and big-eared officer sitting on the high platform in the square. Are these lowly slaves making trouble? The fat-headed chief foreman of the bridge spit thick phlegm. His eyes, as small as a mouse, shone with a subtle light. He stepped down the high platform with strides, passed by several women and little girls. Tisk tisk, I haven't found out before, even among the slaves there are cute children. Overseer Saris made no secret of his greedy gaze. The women were so frightened that they quickly hugged the children into their arms, their bodies trembling uncontrollably with fear. That's right, that's it. Horror is something you can't forget. Fear is something that should be etched into your bones. Saris smiled happily. Cemetery. His complexion changed, and the conversation turned sharply. I really didn't expect that in the area supervised by Lousy, there would be such audacious pariahs as you, harboring intruders without permission. You should know what a heavy responsibility this is. Advertisement. Overseer Saris' eyes flashed a frightening light. Waiting for you will be the cruelest punishment, and what you will experience next is hell. But, Saris turned the subject again. If you can honestly hand over the intruders, maybe you can make atonement for your crimes. Long, Your Excellency, but we really don't know where Miss Robin is now. A woman held her child, tremblingly speaking. That's it, then it's gone. It can only be punished. Saris grinned an extremely pervasive smile. Attention intruders, attention intruders. If it doesn't show up. From now on, Holy Trinity every minute. Kill them all, kill them all. Saris, voice spread throughout the area via phone bugs. Certainly, what he said was just that. Because even if Robin really comes out, he still will not let go of the women and children present. The execution has already begun, how can it be left halfway? Soldier, start the death hourglass countdown now. Saris grinned cruelly. There is no need for this. A beautiful female voice suddenly came from the air. People in the square raised their heads subconsciously. An angel with wide wings flew across the air and descended from the sky. Stay on the ground. The angelic wings suddenly turned into countless petals and dissipated. It's me you're looking for, it has nothing to do with these people. Robin spoke in a deep voice. If it is changed to before. She had fled alone a long time ago and would not be bound by any morality. But now it doesn't work. Since meeting Straw Hat Crew and Chi-Yu. Robin has changed. She is no longer the ruthless woman who can be used and betrayed by anyone. For those who have kindly helped themselves. Robin couldn't give up anyway. Even if it puts you in danger. Ha 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 ha, it's coming, it's really coming. Saris laughed wantonly. Ha ha ha, the executioners behind him also laughed in unison. Advertisement. Sister Robin, you can't come, even if you come, he won't let us go, don't worry about us. The little girl who helped Robin in the first place fought back tears of fear. It's too late to know now. Saris smiled smugly. Clack clack, countless guns were aimed at Robin. Now obediently raise your hands and surrender, maybe I can let you continue to live. Saris glanced greedily over Robin's tender body. It was the first time he met a woman with such an outstanding appearance. Just when Saris was immersed in beautiful fantasies. Saris, wait, tell your men to put down their guns. Don't hurt him. A voice of ecstasy came from far and near. Saris frowned and turned his head. Waiting to see the person coming, immediately put on a flattering smile. Commander Spandison from CP5, what kind of wind brought you here? Saris stepped forward graciously. I just happened to transport a batch of slaves here, but what a coincidence. CP5 Chief Spanda 100 Sen crossed Saris and locked his eyes on Robin. I didn't expect such a huge credit for a delivery mission. The big brother Spandane is dead, and my time will be next, thank you so much, Nicole Luawu. You will be the best prop for Lousy's promotion. Ha 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 ha. Spenderson laughed wantonly. Robin pursed his lips and sighed secretly. As a result, the situation turned out to be the worst. This is also the biggest reason why she always hides and dare not show up. After all, the bridge is the site of the world government. If someone recognizes her identity, then the bridge will become another bridge of hesitation. Just this time, but there will no longer be a hero who can save her from the fire and water. Just when Robin thought so. Boom, like a meteorite hitting the ground. Suddenly, the huge bridge shook violently. It seems to have been collided by large sea kings. The violent shaking caused people on the bridge to panic and shout. What is going on? People shouted and turned their heads suddenly, looking at the source of the shock. Then, a round of dazzling sun came into people's sight immediately. Well, Robin raised his slender hand to cover his red lips. There is mist accumulated between the beautiful eyes. Advertisement Chapter 192 Khalifa and Robin fight side by side. Open black lens bracket subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. The sun fell into the world. The sky is full of brilliance. Under the rays of the sun. The severe cold that has shrouded this place for 700 years seems to have dissipated. What the hell happened? What the hell is that? Saris, Spandison and the others all screamed in panic unconsciously. Next second. There was a terrible scream. It rained blood. Dye the snow red. Moonwalk. The path of thorns. Wearing a tight black dress, Khalifa, a blonde beauty with her legs wrapped in delicate silk, stepped on the moonwalk and leapt in the air. The figure is erratic. She waved her bare hand lightly. A whip of thorn snakes along with the snake. Walking through the crowd of soldiers. Like a storm, dozens of soldiers were instantly sent flying. Quote. Robin took a deep breath, forced to suppress the excitement and joy in my heart. Her beautiful eyes turned to the blonde woman in front of her. Khalifa from CP9. Why are you here? Robin screamed in shock. Never imagined. He even met his former opponent Khalifa here. And, look at the situation. Khalifa is not on the side of the world government. More like coming to rescue her. How is this going? Rao is as smart as Robin, but he is already puzzled at this moment. Don't get me wrong, Nico Robin. Khalifa pushed the glasses with her fingertips, a little awkwardness appeared on her pretty face. I just happened to pass by. You are a traitor Khalifa. CP5 Chief Spandison stared wide-eyed in shock, pointed at Khalifa, and shouted in shock. You traitor, why did you appear here? But wait a moment, if I take you and Nico Robin back together, wouldn't it be another meritorious service for me? Besides, CP5 Chief Spandison's greedy eyes swept over Khalifa and Robin. The Spanda family is indeed the scum of scum, it's really disgusting. Khalifa spoke coldly. What did you say? Spenderson was furious. I just wanted to order the CP5 crowd to attack. Next second. The bloody whip of thorns magnified from his pupils. Gone by. Advertisement. One of the spikes took away a bloody eyeball. The shrill screams were like killing a pig. Damn. Khalifa, you traitor, I will never spare you. Give it all to me. I'm going to make her my slave. Spandison covered his bleeding eyes and screamed terribly. Yes, sir. A group of spies and agents from CP5 attacked together. Then they rushed to the street. The comprehensive strength of the 10 secret espionage organizations of the world government. CPO leads. CP9 comes next. The others are vegetable chicken. Even the 6 styles have not been fully acquired. In Grandmaster 6 forms, in front of Khalifa, a Superman with strength over 600, naturally, he couldn't make much trouble. B********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* overseer, yelled at the top of his voice. All hands ready to shoot. Clack clack. The sound of bullets being loaded was endless. Khalifa opened her arms wide. Paramesh's bubble fruit ability is fully opened. Countless relaxation bubbles flew out in all directions, attached to the bodies and hands of a group of overseer soldiers. Strength. The power is gone. My power. Amidst the wailing, the soldiers with guns fell to the ground in pieces under the special effect of relaxing bubbles. However, there are still fish that slip through the net. Just as Khalifa prepares to take the gunfire with iron body. 30 rounds of flowers. Hook claw. Robin folded his hands. Paramesha flower fruit ability activates. Solve all the fish that slip through the net in one go. Thanks. Khalifa thanked her with a voice as thin as a mosquito. You are welcome. Robin smiled. It's better to say that it's me who should say thank you. Robin stepped forward lightly, back to back with Khalifa. Face the enemies gathered from all directions. The previous thing. I'm sorry. Khalifa pursed her lips and apologized softly. It's okay, I forgive you. Robin smiled. Oh, now it's Khalifa's turn to fail. I didn't expect to get Robin's understanding so easily. Because of the Ennie's lobby incident, they CP9 did a lot of damage to Robin, to Straw Hat Crew. You, Nico Robin, you came with Mr. Chi this time. Advertisement. Robin spoke. Okay. Khalifa nodded. That's all right, now we are no longer hostile, we are already a group. Robin said freely. As smart as she is, she has already seen through everything. Indeed, when I first saw Khalifa appear, Robin was also taken aback. But think of the sun that illuminated the sky before. Robin just understood everything. Nico Robin, you really. Khalifa still couldn't accept himself who was easily forgiven. Compared to that, let's focus on the present moment first. Also, if Ms. Khalifa can protect everyone with me, I would be very grateful. As Robin said, the flower fruit ability was activated again. Knock down as many enemies as possible within sight. Khalifa nodded and said no more. Join Robin in holding off the soldiers' attacks. Ha 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 ha. Arrogant laughter came from the gun tower not far away. B************* D intruder, don't get carried away. Punishment. Following. Before the overseer Saris finished speaking, he pressed the fire button. Thunder 8 trigrams. Boom. Rumble. There was a piercing explosion in the atmosphere. A pitch-black mace smashed down with great gravity. One stick is to destroy and blow up the entire gun tower where Saris is located. What? Zhao Chenjiao, that's a monster. After seeing Chi Yu walking slowly, there is only one thought in the minds of the soldiers, that is distance. The monster emperor with a reward of 6 billion is here. However, they didn't wait for them to run far. The emotion called fear surged out uncontrollably, occupying their whole body and mind. People's screams came and went, one after another. The bodies of all soldiers solidified without warning. In the heavy snow that was flying. This moment, Chi Yu walked forward slowly. Well done, girls. Then they all fell to the ground and completely lost consciousness. The monster is coming. Finally stood in front of Robin and Khalifa. In an instant, the world was silent. The tense heartstrings of the soldiers on the bridge snapped. In the dark, an invisible coercion passed by like the waves of the sea. After witnessing the appearance of the terrifying Sea Emperor. Advertisement Chapter 193 Invitation from the Revolutionary Army. 5 elders panicked. Open black lens bracket subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Well done, girls. Chi-Yu nodded in approval with a smile, raised his big hand, and caressed the heads of Robin and Khalifa. Master Chi-Yu. Khalifa folded her hands, full of joy. Really, so warm. Robin took a deep breath, closed his beautiful eyes, because of the unprecedented warmth and stability in his heart. Under Chi-Yu's touch, Robin only feels that all the severe cold outside is to stay away. It seems that this is not an extremely cold area of ice and snow. It is a pure land where birds are singing and flowers are fragrant, and the sun is warm. This is exactly the power of the sun. I want me too. Mr. Chi-Yu, I want a reward too. Yamato came trotting in a hurry. Put his head in front of Chi-Yu. Chi-Yu did not refuse. A light brush on Yamato's silver hair. Hey hey. Feeling the warm breath from Chi-Yu, Yamato couldn't help squinting his eyes in enjoyment, with a cute face. Look at Khalifa next to him, and look at Yamato. The expression on Robin's small face suddenly became solemn. There was a sense of urgency in my heart for no reason. Just when a series of brain-filling fantasies were going on in Robin's mind. Sister Robin, Sister Robin. A little girl weakly stepped forward and tugged on Robin's trousers. What's wrong? Robin squatted down, and affectionately touched the kind girl who helped him in the first place. 250. Sister Robin, what should we do next? The little girl named Xiaoxia asked at a loss. The women and other children in front of them were also full of panic. They were very happy that they could be saved. However, when they think of the future, they are inevitably at a loss. Now they are indeed saved. But what about later? If Robin and the others just leave like this, there will still be no changes in the country on the bridge. Saris is dead, and someone will take his place. At that time, their fate may not be much better than today. Do not be afraid. There is no need to be afraid at all. Xiaoxia, look at this big brother, you should recognize it. Robin pointed to Chi-Yu. Okay. The little girl blinked her big eyes and nodded weakly. It's the same as in the newspaper, it's a very powerful big brother. Robin gave Chi-Yu a look of help. Chi-Yu nodded with a smile. Now that I've gone this far, of course he won't do nothing. For Chi-Yu, this is nothing more than a matter of effort. And maybe he didn't need to bother. Advertisement. Of course Chi-Yu, who knows everything well, wouldn't be ignorant. The Revolutionary Army has been planning for a long time on this bridge kingdom. CJFJ, the revolution is just around the corner. Chi-Yu only needs to be responsible for clearing the soldiers. The rest of the troublesome things are all left to the Revolutionary Army. Little girl, don't hesitate, the wind and snow have passed, and the sky will eventually clear up. Chi-Yu stroked the little girl's head with his big hand. He walked straight forward a few steps. Clang. The holy sword Galadin was unsheathed in response. With the infusion of Chi-Yu's power, the quasi-sun in the hilt resonates and rotates. The brilliance of the sun spreads accordingly, melted the snow and ice all over the sky. At the same time, it also dissipated people's inner anxiety. Wheel. Chi-Yu raised his right hand above his head. The sword body of the sun holy sword extends for 3 kilometers, piercing through the thick clouds that have not dispersed for hundreds of years. Sword of victory. Chi-Yu's right hand holding the sword slammed down. The infinitely extending sun cannons tore apart the sky. Crush centuries of thick clouds. The warm sun shines on the bridge. Represents new life and hope. Dear Emperor of the Sea, Doctor. An old man with extraordinary bearing walked quickly under the protection of goggle warriors. Standing about 10 meters away from Chi-Yu, he bowed respectfully. I have always heard that Mr. Chi-Yu has invincible talents. I have admired him for a long time. When I saw him today, he really lived up to his reputation. The old man opened his mouth with emotion. Even facing the strongest man in the world. But also has its own style. Not as nervous as the young people in goggles behind him. Who are you? Khalifa stepped forward vigilantly, scolded and asked. Quote closing square bracket ... Quote. Robin narrowed his eyes slightly. The latent time of this half-month. Several times she was almost spotted by the enemy. But every time it can be saved. Once or twice can also be attributed to luck. However, if you come down 3 or 4 times, you can't simply use good luck to prevaricate. Although I don't know who the other party is. But Robin knew it. Kingdom on this bridge. There exists a mysterious force that opposes it. Sorry, see Emperor Chi-Yu, I almost forgot to introduce myself. This old man is the captain of the 8th Detachment of the Eastern Army of the Revolutionary Army. I am here to liberate this kingdom on the bridge. The old man spoke. Nani. Khalifa tensed her delicate body subconsciously. Advertisement. For the world government. The Revolutionary Army is the worst enemy. The previous brainwashing education made Khalifa instinctively react hostilely to the life of the Revolutionary Army. But soon, Khalifa just reacted. She is no longer the killer of the world government. Naturally, it doesn't need to be the same as before. Think here. Khalifa's tense body gradually eased. It turned out to be the Revolutionary Army. Robin nodded knowingly. After knowing the truth, he was not too surprised. Revolutionary Army, then, can I trouble you to take care of these people? Chi-Yu smiled and said. Certainly. The old man nodded quickly. We are here to carry out the revolution and liberate everyone on this bridge. Thanks to Mr. Chi-yu for helping me this time, it is really a big help. I don't remember helping you with anything, Chi-yu said. Mr. Chi-yu, your appearance is the greatest help. Thinking about the guards of the kingdom on this bridge, it is because of your name that they are too scared to resist. The old man flattered him calmly. It would be great if Mr. Chi-yu could stay here for a few more days. Hee. Okay, then as you wish. Chi-yu nodded in response. Just hope my stay of several days is not a waste of time. Yes, the guarantee is not in vain. The old man nodded. As early as a few minutes ago, not long after discovering Chi-yu's appearance, he has already contacted the Revolutionary Army headquarters Baratie through a special phone bug. I believe that within a few days, the leaders and senior officials of the Revolutionary Army will arrive hand in hand. This moment, world government officials said tremblingly. And the Revolutionary Army is on the move, and now Tequila Wolf has fallen. The five elders couldn't stay calm any longer. What did you say? The uppermost layer of the Red Line, the Holy Land of Mariajoy, is thousands of miles away. Not so long ago, the five emperors, the arrogant Chi-yu of the uncrowned emperor landed on Tequila Wolf. The unprecedented alliance of sea emperors plus the Revolutionary Army that penetrated deep into the bottom. Red hair pirates, that arrogant B************, doesn't he just want to fight us? What happened again? The old star of the curly-haired aristocrat scolded in dissatisfaction. The old people in the hall stood up suddenly, their eyes were about to burst. Combine the two, the foundation of their world government is really about to be shaken. Five elders, something is wrong. Report, five elders, news from the kingdom on the bridge. After the pirate alliance, is it the Revolutionary Army this time? A world government official scrambled his way into the deepest chamber of the Mariajoy. Advertisement Chapter 194 Vice Admiral Crane's secret letter to Chi-yu. Open black lens bracket subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. New World. Marine G1 base. Now that naval headquarters is completely sunk. This is regarded as the temporary headquarters of the Marine. And there is a high probability that it will become the new naval headquarters. Everything will have to wait until the appointment of the next Marine Marshal. Now Marine's Marshal Talker is still Sengoku. This moment. G1 base building, Marshal's office. The atmosphere was as calm as ever. Summit wars follow on impact treatment, not yet done. The mess of Impel Down has not yet been dealt with. This moment, the bad news came one after another. Just now, Marshal Sengoku has been contacted by the world government. The man they put a bounty on 6 billion berry on East Blue 2 days ago. Together with the Revolutionary Army, they captured Wolf, the kingdom of Tequila on the bridge. This portends something. Naturally, Marshal Sengoku would not be surprised. Only, now he is really powerless. The Summit War campaign. Marine is waiting to be done. There's just too much mess to deal with. It is already impossible to distinguish the excess troops. Especially when dealing with that terrifying man. Want to deal with that man? At least 3 admiral-level powerhouses must be dispatched. In the office, Marshal Sengoku moaned and sighed, already battered. I thought it would be easier after I resigned in a few days. Never thought about it. The reality hit him hard. He was not allowed to relax at all. East Blue is the hometown of that fellow Garp, and the leader of the Revolutionary Army. The Chief of Staff Vice Admiral paused. Anyway, it should be fine if you let Garp go. If Chi-yu really negotiated and cooperated with the Revolutionary Army in East Blue. Letting Garp go is naturally the best candidate. After all, the leader of the Revolutionary Army is Garp's son. Advertisement. That's right, it's just. Marshal Sengoku rubbed his eyebrows with a headache. Day 3 after Summit War. Garp is going to sea with injuries. He drove away in his own dog-headed warship. No whereabouts have been reported to him. Even Sengoku doesn't know where Garp is now. Blue. The phone bug was quickly connected. What's the matter? Sengoku, I'm very busy here. Garp's carefree voice came. Something happened over East Blue, and I need you to go. Sengoku didn't argue with him. Even if it is concise, inform the general situation. That's it, that arrogant B****************** D and long that B************* D. The sound of grinding teeth came from the other end of the phone bug. If you know what to say, hurry up and leave, this trip is the most suitable for you. Of course it's best to get some information, if you can't get it, forget it. Sengoku said, I'm sorry, Sengoku, although your side is also in a hurry, but I can't leave now. Garp declined. Can't go away. Where the hell are you now? What did you do? Sengoku couldn't help asking. I'm in South Blue now. Garp said, what did you go to South Blue for? Sengoku doesn't understand. That goes without saying, of course it's to hunt down the Roger B*********************. D. Garp said of course. Quote. Sengoku was speechless. You're so sure Roger's in South Blue? Of course. That guy will definitely appear, this is the old man's intuition. Garp said firmly. Mr. Garp, Battery Island is here. Vice Admiral Garp, confirmed. The man sitting on the cliff is Roger the Pirate King. The nervous and anxious reports of the sailors came from the other end of the phone bug. PFF ha, how is it? Sengoku, my intuition is still accurate. Garp laughed smugly. 10. Advertisement. Sengoku. You're busy. Sengoku reluctantly hung up the phone bug. There is no hope for Garp. So who else to send? Kizaru. Seems like a good candidate. Fast, able to arrive at the scene as quickly as possible. Even if you can't beat it, you can run. It is most suitable for scouting intelligence. It's just that if you want to let him go, you may have to omit some information. The information that Chiyu is also there is omitted. Let the people below also help keep the news. But with Kizaru's lazy personality, he probably wouldn't go to the people below to find out about this kind of thing. 0. Sengoku nodded. Although there are some losses, it is very feasible. At the same time, Admiral Kizaru, who was in the office not far away, felt a sudden palpitation. The hairs all over his body stood up. But it didn't take long for it to return to normal. Because before Marshal Sengoku sent someone to notify him of the mission. A tall pink figure walked into the Marshal's office first. Marshal Sengoku, let me go. Marine Admiral candidate Momosuke Gion, who learned about the incident in the kingdom on the bridge from the Marine Intelligence Department, spoke seriously. No, Vice Admiral Crane flatly refused. Why? Gion pursed his lips. Only you can't go. Vice Admiral Crane was firm in his words. Only I can go. Gion is also very firm. There was a long silence. Vice Admiral, he sighed, reluctantly compromised. Sengoku, who silently watched the two make a decision, finally nodded in agreement. Admiral Alternate Momosuke Gion, departure on the same day. Without fanfare. Instead, pack light, bring the necessary change of clothes, daily necessities, and a secret letter to Chiyu from Vice Admiral Crane. Alone, she sailed to East Blue in Marine's newest and fastest light battleship. 9. Advertisement Chapter 195 Robin's once in a lifetime decision open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Early morning. Morning light. The eastern sky lit up with a fish belly white. The warm morning sun shone down, dispelling the severe cold. People walked out of the room in twos and threes, enjoying the warm sunshine to their heart's content. The Bridge Kingdom Tequila Wolf, which has been oppressed for 700 years, finally ushered in the day of liberation. Under the deterrence of the Emperor of the Sea, plus years of careful preparation by the Revolutionary Army. It was only a short period of time before and after. This subversion of the country that has been controlled by the world government for 700 years. No oppression. No exploitation. Everything is booming. This moment. A tall building in the center of town on the bridge. Ah, ow, good morning. The blonde-haired secretary Khalifa yawned and walked out of her room. He greeted the two people at the table casually. Neither Robin nor Yamato, who had thick dark circles under their eyes, spoke. 593. Just looked at Khalifa without blinking. What are you doing looking at me like that? Khalifa asked puzzledly. By the way, do you know where Master Chiyu has gone? Mr. Chiyu, I was invited by the Revolutionary Army before, and I should be back soon. Robin replied. Well, then I'll go wash up first. Khalifa tapped on her slippers, turned and walked towards the bathroom. Oh, I wanted to take a bubble bath with Master Chiyu. Khalifa said to himself. Robin, Yamato, looking at the broken wire on Khalifa's foot. Robin pursed his lips tightly. The pretty face looked solemn like never before. When I saw Khalifa appearing with Chiyu yesterday. Robin just thought it was Khalifa who turned from the dark to the bright. As for more, deeper relationships, she didn't think about it. Or don't want to think about it. Just for now, even if you don't want to. I listened all night last night. Even a fool can see the relationship between Khalifa and Chiyu. Definitely not your ordinary boss and secretary. When she didn't know. Khalifa has become Chiyu's right-hand man. Be the capable secretary next to Chiyu. It was obviously just 2 months before and after. Just so inattentive. It is to let others get ahead. Still an old enemy. Robin's mood at the moment is not to mention how complicated it is. Obviously I came first. Robin pursed his lips, whispering a little bit of grievance. The feelings that were suppressed that day are now emerging like a blowout. It can no longer be suppressed. Advertisement. This moment. Robin's mood was one of regret. I am very sorry. If you were in the capital of water at that time. She could be a little more daring. If you are more active. Then everything will be different now. She should have been by Chiyu's side last night. Instead of comforting alone against a wall. What's the matter? You too, you seem absent-minded and lack of energy. Did you not rest last night? Chiyu's voice sounded suddenly. Mr. Chiyu. The absent-minded Robin and Yamato stood up in shock. Chiyu pressed their shoulders one by one and sat down. If you are tired, don't hold on. After breakfast, go to rest. Chiyu comforted her warmly. Okay. Yamato nodded heavily. Yes. Robin nodded slightly. Feeling the warm care from Chiyu, her tense pretty face was relieved. A happy smile appeared on his face unconsciously. However, the next second. Master Chiyu. Khalifa's voice came from the bathroom. What's wrong? Chiyu asked. Master Chiyu, I forgot to take my clothes, can you help me get them from my room? Khalifa said. Quote, this girl definitely did it on purpose. Who takes a bath without clothes? But, alright. I'll bring it to you later. Chiyu agreed. Oh. Khalifa sighed in disappointment. What she wanted was for Chiyu to deliver it now. Then the two spoke together. Seeing that Khalifa's little conspiracy failed. The pretty faces of Robin and Yamato suddenly became animated. Simply had breakfast. I am leaving. Yamato went out with the diary in his arms. Ready to go out to collect wind. Then write a diary of your own sailing adventures. If you are interested in the history of this bridge, Robin, you can go to the Revolutionary Army to have a look. All the information has been sorted out. Chi-Yu said casually. Robin responded casually. If in the past. In the face of historical issues. Robin has always been very serious. Especially this 700-year-old bridge. Advertisement. Very close to the blank 100 years. There is a need to dig deeper. But right now, Robin's attitude was a little careless. Because of this moment, a major life decision is going on in her mind. Looking at Robin's serious face, Chi-Yu only thought that Robin was thinking about some historical issue. Also did not bother. Turn around and go back to the room. I took a piece of clothing from the suitcase and prepared to send it to Khalifa. At this time, Pat, okay. Chi-Yu raised his eyebrows. Turning around, he saw Robin coming, and locked the door behind him. Before Chi-Yu could say anything. Next second, Wen Shang Ruan Yu crashed into her arms. Robin took a deep breath. He slammed into Chi-Yu's arms with all his strength. The fragrance is tangy. The pure petals fall with the unique fragrance of virgins. For a long time, pure points. Mr. Chi-Yu. Robin exhaled like blue. A pair of eyes seemed to be full of water, staring at Chi-Yu affectionately without blinking. What's up? Chi-Yu wrapped his arms around Robin's waist. Asked knowingly. Mr. Chi-Yu is really. I've already made it this far. Robin pursed his lips. Have you really thought it through? Chi-Yu looked a little solemn. Okay. Robin nodded heavily. 1.8 inches then thank you for the hospitality. 1 hour. 2 hours. Crash. Khalifa came out of the water with large bubbles. Even if taking a bath is something she likes, it is inevitable to get bored after soaking for a long time. Especially when you haven't waited for someone you like for a long time. Really, what exactly is Master Chi-Yu doing? You must have forgotten it. Khalifa went out muttering. Can stay in the living room. The expression on her face froze instantly. Next second. Finger pistol. A slender finger pierced through the door lock like a bullet. Squeak. The locked door swung open. Ah, Master Chi-Yu, do you mind if I join in? Khalifa asked with a smile. Advertisement Chapter 196. The Revolutionary Army arrives. The meeting that overturned the world. Open black lens bracket. Subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Khalifa and Robin. Enemies that were once irreconcilable. After yesterday. Together again. And then. Defeat. The sun was setting. Night fell. I am back. Yamato greeted and pushed the door open. Like a tired student returning from school. Ah, Yamato is back. Wash your hands and prepare to eat. Robin greeted him warmly with a delicate dish. This posture is like a mother welcoming her daughter back. Plus Chi-Yu who was reading the newspaper at the dining table while waiting for dinner. Just like a warm family of 3, 4. Ah, Robin, what to do next? Khalifa's frantic cries for help came from the kitchen. I'm coming. Robin hurried back. This saved a kitchen tragedy from happening. With a confused expression on his face, Yamato sat down next to Chi-Yu who was still seriously reading the newspaper. 29. Mr. Chi-Yu. Yamato poked Chi-Yu's arm. What's up? Chi-Yu asked without looking up. Miss Robin and Miss Khalifa, when did they become so close? Yamato asked in surprise. For Robin and Khalifa's past. Yamato also heard about it. No, just 2 months ago. They are still life and death enemies. Khalifa also did really bad things to Robin. But now, the 2 housewives who wore aprons and helped each other in the kitchen were like real sisters. It's a miracle. Mr. Chi-Yu, how did you do it? Yamato shook his head and murmured in shock. Chi-Yu frowned slightly, just glanced at Yamato, and said nothing. Sorry. Yamato trots away to wash himself off. The dinner ended in a warm and harmonious atmosphere. Yamato, who had been traveling all day, yawned and went to rest early. Robin and Khalifa cleaned up after simple cleaning. Both go back to the room. Ever since this night. Advertisement. Yamato, who had just fallen asleep, suffered from insomnia again. He got up silently and sat against the wall. Listened to the voice next door. Yamato finally figured everything out. I understand why Robin and Khalifa can coexist so harmoniously regardless of the past. She is the only outsider in the relationship now. Think here. Yamato couldn't help crying. At the same time, there is an impulse in my heart. She wants to boldly push the door out and join in. In the end, however, she couldn't muster up the courage. I can only squat against the wall, silently comforting myself. At the same time, I also comfort myself in my heart. I am still young, and there is still plenty of time in the future. Day and night. Early the next morning. Ow. Good morning. With heavy dark circles under his eyes, Yamato yawned big, and walked out of the room listlessly. Good morning. Robin responded with a smile. Different from yesterday. Robin's spirits are higher than ever this morning. Now that I have completely opened my heart, Robin is like a second spring. Even the skin is smoother and more radiant than before. From the original healthy wheat color to snow white. Simple breakfast. Robin didn't stay out of the house. Join Yamato to discover the bridge's 700-year history. Watching Robin and Yamato go out. Khalifa was filled with joy immediately. His little feet under the table raised restlessly. Snapped. Chi Yu decisively grabbed Khalifa's ankle. Khalifa's face was filled with anticipation. Quote. Asterisk. Indulging in pleasure is not good. Chi Yu felt that it was necessary for him to correct him. Go, pack up and go out with me, Chi Yu said. Alas. Khalifa was disappointed. Okay. Chi Yu looked sideways at her. Yes, Khalifa pouted. Advertisement. Although slightly disappointed. But since it is Chi Yu's order, there is no way. Besides. Khalifa thought suddenly, although I don't know what to do next. But only she and Chi Yu are together. It is simply a date in the world of two. Think here. Khalifa couldn't help jumping with joy. She hurried back to her room. Find the most beautiful clothes. Painted the most exquisite makeup. Then followed for a day. Hey sis, little feet are weak when she walks into the high heels. There is no romantic date imaginable at all. Chi Yu just took her step by step to measure the length of the 700-year-old bridge. But fortunately, last of the last, even though her feet were stiff, she was rewarded with Chi Yu's princess hug. That's all. Khalifa has no regrets. The peaceful and fulfilling days continued. In a blink of an eye, it was another 2 days. On the morning of the 4th day of the liberation of Tequila Wolf, Kingdom of the Bridge. Some moment, a black beast appeared on the sea in East Blue. Appeared in the sight of the people on the bridge. The black behemoth rides the wind and waves. Strongly cover all the waves. This is a super battleship that is not below the top warships of naval headquarters. The Freedom flag flying on the mast represents its ownership. This is the treasure ship belonging to the world's most evil force, Revolutionary Army 410. This moment, on the deck of this Revolutionary Army's highest specification treasure ship, gathered the most luxurious lineup of Revolutionary Army forces. Wearing a dark green windbreaker for the first time, the man with a firm expression and a red line on one side of his cheek is the leader of the Revolutionary Army, Monkey Dragon. On the cannon at the bow sat a young blonde youth in a tall hat. He is a rising star of the Revolutionary Army, the Reserve Chief of Staff Sabo, and also a member of the 3 Straw Hat Brothers, who is still in a state of amnesia. On the left side of the ship, Bello Betty, the hot figure of the Eastern Army commander, was wearing a cardigan and quietly smoking a cigarette. Wearing a sailor suit, the hot-eyed Titan S********, the commander of the Western Army, Mori, hesitated. Lindbergh, the commander of the Confederate Army and the Fur Tribe scientist, sat on the second deck to adjust his scientific weapons. The cherished pseudo-beast ability user, Karas, the commander of the North Army, embraced him with both arms, not angry and majestic. In addition, the Deputy Army Commander Ashel, Murloc Karate Instructor Haku and Koala also gathered together. It has only been 2 days since the big event on top of naval headquarters. The Revolutionary Army, which is the #1 thorn in the eyes of the world government, is coming out in full force. This is abnormal for the Revolutionary Army, which has always been known for its cautiousness. However, in the eyes of the leader Long and the major army commanders, their move is very necessary and meaningful. Because this time may be a meeting that will subvert the world. Advertisement Chapter 197 Chi Yu's epic meeting with the dragon. Open black lens bracket, subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Mr. Long, everyone, you can already see it, there are about 3 kilometers to the southeast. On the observation deck of the mast, Koala, a vigorous girl with short orange hair and goggles, gestured to estimate the distance and reported. Are we going to see you soon? People's hearts are trembling. The commander of the Western Army, the hot-eyed Titan S********, Mori twisted his waist. Ha ha ha, Mori, don't act recklessly when you see that guy later, be careful that he gets disgusted, and it won't be good if you slap him over with a palm later. Fur scientist Lindbergh laughed. Hate. Mori raised his orchid fingers. A piercing noise of unknown meaning rang out. Karas, you forgot to turn on the sound again. Bello and Betty stroked her forehead. What? Karas, the commander of the Northern Army who was originally calm and arrogant, made a breakthrough in a second. Pata, the loudspeaker switch is on. Feel sorry. Callus apologized in frustration. Okay. Bello Betty waved. The eyes under the pink-purple sunglasses looked towards the bridge in the southeast direction. In addition to being nervous, there is also a trace of anticipation. Masters, get ready to meet the King of the Sea. Long, the leader of the Revolutionary Army, waved his hand. Instantly, the wind howled. Roaring sea. Driven by the waves and strong wind, the treasure ship of the Revolutionary Army approached Tequila Wolf Strait. 10 minutes later, treasure ships like black monsters berthed at the landing point of the bridge. Mr. Long, leader, Barney Joe and other revolutionary soldiers who participated in the liberation movement on the bridge all shouted excitedly and greeted them. Comrades, you have worked hard. This time you also perfectly realized the revolution. The revolutionary dragon stood at the bow of the boat, giving an impassioned and encouraging speech. No. All are under the leadership of Mr. Long. Mr. Long, you are the light that guides us. And this time Master Chi Yu also helped a lot. Without Mr. Chi Yu, our operation would not be so smooth. Advertisement. A group of revolutionary soldiers spoke one after another. Okay. The leader dragon nodded, jumped down from the bow of the ship and landed first. He is followed by Sabo, the young chief of staff of the Revolutionary Army. Followed by Bello Betty, Lindbergh, Murray, and Callus, the 4 major army commanders. Finally, there are small cadres such as Koala, Ashel, and Haku. The senior leaders of the revolutionary army gathered almost together. Gudong. The Adam's apple couldn't help rolling when they witnessed this spectacular scene with their own eyes. Amazing. The General Assembly of Cadres. This pressure is really extraordinary. The soldiers of the revolutionary army gave way with a sigh. Only that gentleman is worthy of the Grand Assembly of our revolutionary army's top brass. Barney Joe and the others looked towards the end of the port. Chi Yu stood calmly with his hands behind his back. Only one person, but it is enough to be worth thousands of troops. On momentum, even the high-level assembly of the revolutionary army headed by the leader Long is not as good. This aura is the master of the sea. This attitude is the strongest man in the world. Gudong. That's the uncrowned emperor, Chi Yu. Sabo, the young chief of staff of the revolutionary army, swallowed hard, his expression unprecedentedly solemn. He really deserves to be the man who subverted the naval headquarters summit war by himself. This oppressive power really lives up to his reputation. Southern Army Commander Lindbergh grinned reluctantly. Conquer the unruly legendary Golden Lion Shiki of the last era, resurrect the One Piece King Galdi Roger who died for 22 years, and revive the four emperors Whitebeard who was seriously injured and dying with full blood. This man is simply a miracle man. Northern Army Commander Crow Callis spoke solemnly to himself. The strongest above Admiral and four emperors. Just the normal form is already so manly, I don't know how charming he is at noon. Bello Betty, commander of the Eastern Army, whispered curiously. Little Betty, you can't handle that arrogant man, so don't even think about it. Axelu, the deputy commander of the Eastern Army, reminded in a low voice. Okay. Bello Betty raised her eyebrows unconvinced. He, the legendary Mr. Arrogant, I really want to meet him too. The energetic revolutionary girl Koala giggled. Suddenly, Koala's eyes lit up. Advertisement. Ah, that's true Miss Robin. The light we've been looking for years, here it is. Koala's eyes were fixed on Robin behind Chi Yu, his face was full of joy. The other side, it wasn't just the revolutionaries who were intimidated by Chi Yu's aura. The three girls behind Chi Yu. At this moment, he was completely shocked by the grand battle of the revolutionary army. The revolutionary army who takes the promise of overthrowing the nobles and liberating the suffering people at the bottom as their mission, so handsome. Yamato's eyes sparkled. I have great admiration for the cause that the revolutionary army is currently doing. Before following Chi Yu to leave the island of ghosts, Yamato doesn't even know what the revolutionary army is. Because this is an organization that is not even recorded in Odin's voyage diary. But on this trip came Tequila Wolf. Liberate the kingdom on the bridge with the revolutionary army. Learn about their philosophy and great cause from the soldiers of the revolutionary army. Yamato couldn't help being deeply moved again. Just like when she witnessed Odin die with her own eyes. For a hot-blooded girl like her, the revolutionary army's work of eradicating violence and reassuring the good, and liberating oppression is the cause that she is most sympathetic to. Once again, she found what she wanted to do and found her purpose. Instead of continuing to play Kazuki Odin, it's something she herself, named Yamato, wants to do. This is the revolutionary army. Robin on the other side also couldn't help shaking. There is a real resemblance between Straw Hat Luffy and Hero Garp. Robin couldn't stop complaining about Genin. Khalifa couldn't calm down, and unconsciously hid behind Chi Yu. Just the middle one. Look at the senior officials of the revolutionary army behind him. The leader of the revolutionary army, Monkey D. Dragon, stood in front of Chi Yu. That's the world's worst criminal, Revolutionary Dragon. Luffy's father. Because she suddenly thought of the lack of virtue of her own captain. Under the spotlight, Khalifa, the former CP9, swallowed hard. Robin also had a strange look on his face. There is also the virtue of the captain's grandfather, the hero Garp, the father of the dragon. It's not a style at all. But while shaking, finally. World government's #1 hostile organization. Moneyed. Look at the calm revolutionary dragon who was at the forefront, she had only seen on the news. Advertisement Chapter 198. The thought that surprised the revolutionary Long. Open black lens bracket subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Your Excellency Chi Yu, when I saw you today, you really deserve your reputation and extraordinary bearing. You are indeed the king of the sea. Long, the leader of the revolutionary army, spoke seriously. King of the sea. Chi Yu frowned slightly. I was a little surprised by the name of the leader of the revolutionary army, Long. Mr. Chi Yu, after the summit war, the outside world has already recognized you as the next leader of this ocean. Robin explained in a low voice. Chi Yu nodded knowingly. This was the first time he had heard of it. It's just that if he becomes the king of the sea, as the captain, Shanks will feel ashamed. Chi Yu laughed and shook his head, no longer thinking about these meaningless things. Revolutionary Monkey D. Dragon, I have heard your name for a long time. As expected of the leader of the revolutionary army. As usual, Chi Yu had a wave of business bragging. Your Excellency Chi Yu is too honorable. The leader nodded politely. Ha ha ha, forget it. Chi Yu suddenly waved his hand. Everyone in the field couldn't help being stunned. To be honest, I really don't have a long time for this kind of formal and rigid meeting. 473 Chi Yu said. Then just do as you please. By the way, Your Excellency Chi Yu, do you have any questions you want to ask me? Asked the leader dragon. From the first moment I saw Chi Yu. He was keenly aware of it. Chi Yu seemed to have something to say but didn't say it. Listening to the dragon taking the initiative to speak, Chi Yu couldn't help laughing. When I saw the dragon before, he did have a wealth of psychological activities, full of emotion. The reason is naturally related to the monkey family. It's just that it would be rude to mention it. Your Excellency Chi Yu has any questions, but it's okay to say. The leader dragon waved his hand. A look of knowing everything. Give Chi Yu enough face. This is also natural. After all, he still wanted to conspire with Chi Yu later on. I want to make the revolutionary cause really great. The power of Chi Yu, the king of the sea, is indispensable. Advertisement. This has become a major policy of their revolutionary army. Since you have said so, then I will say it directly. Chi Yu smiled slightly. Speaking of which, your father Garp and your son Luffy are also considered acquaintances, and I know their personalities well, but I didn't expect. Chi Yu shook his head and didn't say any more. But the meaning between the words is already obvious enough. Following Chi Yu's voice fell. Robin, Khalifa and Yamato are all telekinesis. The three of them are also closely related to Straw Hat Luffy. The carefree offline character of the Straw Hat Boy is the most clear. However, Luffy's father, who is so escaped, is actually such a calm and cold man. At this point, anyone who knows should be curious. Not even just Chi Yu, 4 people. Even Sabo, the chief of staff of the Revolutionary Army, the commanders of the 4 major armies, Koala, Haku and others. At this moment, all of them have their ears stuck. Really curious about this question. The leader dragon was dumbfounded. He originally thought that Chi Yu would question his thoughts and ideas. After all, if you want to cooperate, you must know everything about the other party. And he was ready to answer accordingly. But never thought about it. In the end, Chi Yu's question turned out to be this. For a while, even long, the calm leader of the Revolutionary Army couldn't handle it. For Chi Yu's question, he really didn't know how to answer. I didn't expect His Excellency Chi Yu to be so interested in my family issues. The leader dragon shook his head. Don't get me wrong, Long, I'm just asking casually. Chi Yu waved his hand, indicating that he should not take it too seriously. CJEG, no, it's not something hard to say. Everyone in this world has their own personality. I'm not the same as Dad, or Luffy, it's just a matter of nature. The leader Longdao, it makes sense. Chi Yu nodded. Then let's go. Okay. 5 minutes later, Chi Yu and his party of 4 and the cadres of the Revolutionary Army came to the conference room that had been prepared. Advertisement. No lengthy prologue nonsense. Both parties understood the purpose of this meeting. Then first of all, let me tell His Excellency Chi Yu the philosophy of our Revolutionary Army. The leader dragon stood up himself. Then he began to talk about the path he has been groping for over the years. Organized. Even a straightforward and hot-blooded girl like Yamato can easily understand it. Thinking about it, before coming, Long also made sufficient preparations. After 2 full hours, Revolutionary Dragon ends his speech. Your Excellency Chi Yu, this is all of our Revolutionary Army, what do you think? The leader dragon asked calmly. Sabo, Koala, Bello Betty and others all looked at Chi Yu nervously. Their biggest worry during this trip is that they are afraid that a big man like Chi Yu will not be able to understand their cause. It's just obvious. Their worries are unfounded, for their thoughts and ideas. As a time traveler, how could Chi Yu not understand? After all, Chi Yu has also received the influence of the red flag for the time being. Rather say, compared with their stumbling and fumbling from scratch, Chi Yu already had a more complete set of ideas. So, Chi Yu stood up. As for your ideas and thoughts, I already understand enough, but I still have a few things I want to add. These are just my family's opinions, and it's up to you to judge whether you accept it or not. Your Excellency Chi Yu, please speak. The leader, Long Zheng, nodded his head. Sabo and other Revolutionary Army cadres also sat upright, ready to listen. Chi Yu cleared his throat. Even if it is something that I have been preparing for these days when I am idle, I will reveal it here. Although Chi Yu is not good at horse theory, ideological politics, etc., he has memorized a lot. Now it's out. Immediately amazed the audience. Wow. Not long after Chi Yu's speech began, there was an endless uproar in the huge conference room. Revolutionary Army Chief Dragon, Chief of Staff Sabo, Chief of the 4 armies, Koala, Haku, Ashel. All the Revolutionary Army cadres present at the moment were all amazed and astonished. Looking at Chi Yu's eyes, there is even a little worship and fanaticism. Such a profound revolutionary thought. Mr. Chi Yu is exactly the revolutionary who came into being. Advertisement Chapter 199 Momosugi arrives. Gion. Dragon, long time no see. Open black lens bracket subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Temporary meeting room. The cadres of the Revolutionary Army were shocked and excited into an uproar. Even calm like a dragon, the leader of the Revolutionary Army. At this moment, there is also a look of amazement, astonished as heaven and man. Before coming, they used to worry that their ideas could not resonate with Chi Yu. But now, they finally know. What exactly is my worry? How superfluous it is. How can someone who can put forward such profound thoughts and insights fail to understand them? Even a single discussion on the views on revolutionary thought. Even the leader of the proposer, Long, is not as good as Chi Yu. The world is really big. In places I don't know, there are many people who have the same thoughts as me. My way is not alone. Long, the leader of the Revolutionary Army, murmured with emotion. Amazing. It's really amazing. The young chief of staff Sabo exclaimed again and again. Mr. Chi Yu is simply another beacon of revolution. Confederate Commander Lindbergh shouted excitedly. Quack quack. Northern Army Commander Callis blushed with excitement and his neck was thick. Trying to say something, but once again forgot to turn on the machine. Mr. Chi Yu is so handsome. Revolutionary girl Koala rests her chin on her hands. The bright eyes are full of little stars of admiration. Ashaloo. Bello Betty, commander of the Eastern Army, stared at Chi Yu without blinking her beautiful eyes. What's the matter, little Betty? Deputy Army Commander Ashel asked. I want to try and grasp. Bello and Betty covered her beating heart, and a touching arc was drawn at the corner of her mouth. Betty, are you serious? Certainly. Chi Yu was unmoved by the shock and amazement of the Revolutionary Army. He just confided all the things he had prepared on his own. About an hour later, Chi Yu ended his speech. Oh. The audience burst into cheers. Mr. Chi Yu is so handsome. Yamato shouted coquettishly at the top of his throat. Mr. Chi Yu, His Excellency Chi Yu, you are an indispensable light for the revolution. Your thoughts are too penultimate. It just made me wait for the moment. Thanks. Advertisement. The cadres of the Revolutionary Army also shouted frantically. Chi Yu just waved his hand casually, indicating that everyone does not need to be so high profile. He is far from being a saint. Chi Yu never had the idea of being a saint. The meeting with the Revolutionary Army has come to an end. Next, as requested by Chi Yu, a grand pirate-style banquet then opened. The time came to 11 o'clock unconsciously, under the strong request of all the members of the Revolutionary Army. In the arrogant form, Chi Yu recounted the perfect revolutionary thought to them in an arrogant tone. The scene was lively. Mr. Chi Yu is really good. The revolutionary girl Koala came to Luo with a glass of wine. Robin smiles. Then Miss Koala, what do you want from me? Robin asked bluntly. Start with meeting at the port in the morning. Robin has noticed the attention from Koala. Don't misunderstand. Koala waved his hands again and again. Miss Robin, I mean no harm. Just because I'm so happy to see you. Koala explained. Nice to meet me. Robin looked puzzled. Yeah. Miss Robin, you are our revolutionary fire. We've been looking for you for more than 10 years. Koala explained concisely. I see. Robin nodded knowingly. Miss Robin, do you want to come to our revolutionary army? Koala looked forward to the invitation. Feel sorry. Robin spoke without hesitation. I've now found my place. If you change to a few years ago, if invited by the revolutionary army, Robin will definitely choose to join without hesitation. Just now, not only does she have the Straw Hat Pirates and the strongest and best man in the world, Robin naturally wouldn't have the slightest hesitation. That's it, it's okay. Actually, I'm just asking casually, don't mind Miss Robin. Koala patted his little head foolishly. Advertisement. The happy banquet time passed bit by bit, under the instruction of the leader dragon. The revolutionary ideas that came out of Chi Yu's mouth were quickly compiled into books. It is planned to be issued to all revolutionary soldiers in the future. Everyone has a copy, as a compulsory course. Also, the leader dragon also made a special request to Chi Yu. Let Chief of Staff Sabo and Koala act as their liaisons, and temporarily stay by Chi Yu's side. To this, Chi Yu did not refuse, and nodded in response. The leader dragon immediately called Sabo and Koala to him. Knowing the arrangement of the leader dragon, Sabo readily agreed without the slightest hesitation. As for Koala, she jumped 3 feet happily, full of longing for the future. On the other hand, Bello Betty, the commander of the Eastern Army on the other side, looked miserable at the moment. That's envious, because she also wanted to perform such a character. But on the other hand, she also knows her responsibilities. You can't ask the dragon willfully. Time flies. The day passes in the blink of an eye. After the final secret meeting with the leader dragon, this historic meeting, enough to be recorded in history, is over. Early the next morning, Mr. Long, everyone, goodbye. Sheep Mei Li pooped, and Koala waved goodbye happily. In the sound of farewell, Mei Li the sheep is drifting away. Send off Chi Yu and his party. The cadres of the Revolutionary Army also took action one after another. Emotions are warm and agitated, and the temperament is high. Always ready to go big. Mr. Long, the ship's preparations for sailing have been completed. The small cadre of the Revolutionary Army, Barney Joe, reported. Well, everyone is ready. With a wave of his big hand, Long was about to give the order to set sail. At this time, Mr. Long, Marine's small scout boat is approaching at a fast speed to the southeast. The revolutionary soldiers on the watchtower anxiously shouted the report. Let me see, who is it? Confederate Commander Lindbergh soars into the sky with the help of a high-tech jetpack. Next moment, a golden sword energy descended. Almost cut it off. Clatter. There were tiny ripples in the atmosphere. A tall and heroic beauty wearing Marine's justice cloak, Marine stepped on the majestic atmosphere, majestically invading the treasure ship of the Revolutionary Army. Gion, the leader of the Revolutionary Army, Long, narrowed his eyes slightly. Long time no see. Death. Advertisement chapter 200 The dragon who opens his eyes and tells nonsense. Gion was fooled and limped. Open black lens bracket, subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. The Hope ship belonging to the Revolutionary Army. The warm atmosphere suddenly became tense. The well-trained revolutionary soldiers acted immediately. Surrounded the tall and slender shadows who were invading powerfully. Admiral of Headquarters Alternate Momosuke Gion. Lindbergh, the commander of the Southern Army, revealed the identity of the tall and beautiful figure word by word. There was an uproar on the deck of the treasure ship. Momosuke Gion. It turned out to be her. Marine's alternate admiral. Why is she here? If it's for the Tessera Wolf incident, is it weird that she's alone? Could it be that she is just the advance team, and Marine's admiral and the main force are still behind? Thinking of this, the soldiers of the Revolutionary Army couldn't help becoming a little nervous. Alone in the encirclement of the enemy. Gion's delicate, 627, pretty face didn't change the slightest expression, it remained calm all the time. I didn't expect that your Revolutionary Army would actually take a huge risk and come out in full force. It's such a luxurious lineup. It seems that I may not be able to keep you all alone. Gion raised his chin, and Haki opened his mouth full. What did you say? The commander of the Eastern Army held a battle flag and raised his eyebrows coldly. It's so menacing, it's scary. The Titan Ladyboy Mori spoke weakly. He clenched the trident in his hand, ready to hand it out at any time. Even if you are Marine's admiral candidate, this tone is too loud. Karas, the commander of the Northern Army, finally adjusted his loudspeaker and spoke in a cold voice. Gion snorted proudly. Face off against the hostile Revolutionary Army faction. If she doesn't say harsh words, is it possible to talk to each other? Let's all back down. The majestic voice spread throughout the ship. The leader of the Revolutionary Army, Long, stepped forward. Mr. Long. If Mr. Long makes a move, it will be absolutely safe. Mr. Long alone is enough. Mr. Long's strength is definitely comparable to Admiral and 4 Emperors. The soldiers of the Revolutionary Army made up their minds. But beyond everyone's expectations, the leader dragon didn't intend to make a move. The face that had always been resolute and steady now carried a hint of nostalgia. Gion, I haven't seen you for decades, you are already this big. Long, the leader of the Revolutionary Army, spoke. Shut up, dragon, you are only 1 round older than me, don't talk to me in such an elder tone. Gion scolded. Cemetery. Advertisement. Her complexion changed. Gritting his silver teeth lightly. Realized that I seemed to be inadvertently revealing my age. Then, Gion's eyes on the dragon suddenly became more and more unfriendly. Don't be so hostile to me, let's say we had a sibling relationship before. Long spoke calmly. As soon as the words came out. The audience was stunned for a moment. But well-trained Revolutionary Army soldiers. At this moment, they covered their mouths consciously. I dare not make too much judgment on the leader's past. Shut up. When you defected from the Marine, all we had left was enmity. Gion's 2 rows of silver teeth creaked. Once upon a time. 20 or 30 years ago. In the eyes of the little lowly Gion, who was less than 10 years old. Monkey D. Dragon, the son of the hero Garp, is also a steady and reliable big brother. As Vice Admiral's sister, she takes good care of her. However, one day 25 years ago, this calm and righteous big brother defected to Marine. Then he became the worst criminal in the world. Formed a revolutionary army force, openly hostile to Marine and world government. Become a dangerous element that endangers the world. So far, the last gleam of yearning for dragons in Gion's heart is also exhausted. Now all that remains is hostility. Feeling Gion's unkind hostility. The leader dragon is also helpless. However, he would not attack Gion either. If you really do it, I'm afraid both Vice Admiral Crane and his father will have to do it. Beside this there is, others don't know it, but Long, the leader of the Revolutionary Army, knows it. The secret relationship between Gion and that person. After all, the intelligence network of their Revolutionary Army is not vegetarian. Gion, let's stop here for reminiscing about the past. Tell me, the purpose of your trip here. The leader dragon asked straightforwardly. Humph. Gion folded his arms. I heard that you are about to meet with the world's largest evil party. If you don't know about this meeting, is it convenient for me to attend? The leader Long nodded clearly. You agreed. Advertisement. Gion raised an eyebrow. The leader dragon shook his head again. Dragon, what the hell do you mean? Gion felt like he was being played. Don't get me wrong, it's just a coincidence that Gion you came, our meeting is over. The person you were looking for may have traveled more than 100 miles. Long said calmly. What did you say? Gion was dumbfounded. His face was no longer calm. I thought it was just beginning. It turned out that it was all over. Long, is that guy really gone? You didn't lie to me. Gion asked seriously. Who do you think I am? Dragon rode. Then where did he go? Gion asked. There. The leader dragon casually pointed in a direction. It was exactly the opposite direction to Chiyu's departure. Gion took one last deep look at Ryu. Really, it's a waste of time not to say it earlier. Gion complained in a low voice. Stepping on the moonwalk soared into the sky and returned to his boat. Go forward at full speed in the direction pointed by Long Dian. Until Gion disappears at the end of the sea level. Karas, the commander of the Northern Army, replaced the leader of the dragon and gave a dignified order. The quiet atmosphere on the Revolutionary Army's treasure ship finally thawed. What are you all doing? I thought there would be a fight between dragons and tigers today. In the end, he just said a few words and ended hastily. It turns out that the leader will also tell lies with his eyes open. That unpretentious gesture. Yes, yes, Mr. Long, is that marine woman dying? How dare she chase Mr. Chi-yu alone? Only then did the crowd disperse. The expressions on the faces of all the soldiers of the Revolutionary Army are 0.3, which is strange. That's not what we should be concerned about. Almost even they believed it. Hurry up and go back to your respective positions. Besides, Bello Betty, commander of the Eastern Army, frowned slightly. Suddenly Hiroto didn't blink. They also saw another side of their leader. Advertisement Chapter 201 Koko Yasi Village. Nami's older sister Noki Gao. Open black lens bracket subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. This is a peaceful island. It was almost evening. In the villages on the island, smoke billows from the kitchens. The gentle sea breeze blows, making the orange groves rattle. This is Kokoyasi village in East Blue, famous for its sweet oranges. It is also the hometown of Nami, the navigator of the Straw Hat Pirates. More than half a year ago, this place is still a hell on earth dominated by a group of murlocs and evil dragons. In order to buy the village from the dragon, the young girl chose to bear everything alone. He tried his best to toss and turn in this perilous sea. But just before she was about to save enough 100 million berries to buy the village, the cruel reality knocked her down again. Fortunately, at that time she met an idiot boy wearing a straw hat. The evil dragon gang that had entrenched here for 8 years was defeated. The village dominated by pirates and decaying marines was liberated. Now, half a year passed. The usual peace and tranquility have been restored here. Crash. The waves lapped on the sand. Send guests from afar. A dhow moored on the back coast of the village of Koyasi. Master Chi-yu, where is this place? Khalifa asked curiously. There is always a reassuring atmosphere in this small peaceful village. Yamato opened his arms with a look of ecstasy. Familiar orange flavor, could it be that this is? Robin frowned slightly. I just feel the sweet orange smell in the air is somewhat familiar. East Blue Koko Yaxi Village, the oranges here are very famous in East Blue. Koala, a girl from the Revolutionary Army, named the island. It really is Nami's hometown. Robin nodded. The pretty face raised an arc unconsciously. It is rare to come to the hometown of my partner. She has already thought about it, so she must take a good look at it. By the way, you can also help Nami with souvenirs. Mr. Chi-yu, what are we doing here? Sabo asked curiously. Eat oranges. Chi-yu replied calmly. After saying that, he walked to the orange grove not far away. In the orange grove filled with sweet and fresh orange aroma. Advertisement. A girl with neat short blue hair trimmed the branches skillfully. Pick the ripe fruit that is yellow and clear. Miss, is this orange grove yours? Koala tapped the ground with her toes, and came lightly and agilely in front of the blue-haired girl Nuo Chigao. Wow. Surprised by the sudden koala, the blue-haired girl Nuo Chigao exclaimed. Frightened and fell off the ladder. At this time, a pair of powerful hands passed through her waist and supported her so that she did not fall to the ground. Master Chi-yu, Mr. Chi-yu, Khalifa and Robin smiled, holding Chi-yu's arm from left to right. Cough cough. Chi-yu coughed lightly and withdrew his hands. Before, he just wanted to save people subconsciously. Absolutely no other thoughts. I'm sorry, Miss Tangerine, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry to scare you. Koala apologized repeatedly. No, nothing. It should be me who said thank you. Nuo Chigao waved her hands again and again. Speaking of which, this young lady still has. Nuo Chigao glanced over Koala, and then fell on Chi-yu and his party who were walking slowly not far away. Just one glance. Nuo Chigao's beautiful pupils shrank suddenly. It was like meeting the most incredible person in the world. As a village girl in a small village in the peaceful East Blue, Nuo Chigao has no understanding of the world's situation. I don't know anything about the world's big shots either. But that was before. Now after the summit war is over. Everyone in the world knows it. A man scarier and more powerful than Whitebeard appears. That will be the king who rules the entire sea. Even a village girl in a remote village like Nuo Chigao knew about it. What a big man is suddenly appearing in front of her now. You are. Under the huge impact, Nuo Chigao opened her mouth wide and did not catch her breath. Roll your eyes. He fainted from fright on the spot. Koala yelled in panic. Don't panic, Koala, this lady just passed out. Sabo reminded. Advertisement. Robin glanced at Chi-yu. Chi-yu spread out his hand and said that it had nothing to do with him. He hadn't really done anything before. After a few minutes. Under the care of Koala and Robin, Nuo Chi's high eyelashes trembled slightly, and she was about to wake up. At this time, who are you? What do you want to do to Nuo Chigao? A guard with a windmill on his head, scars all over his face, and a ferocious look ran over in a hurry. Don't get me wrong, we just. Yamato stepped forward, wanting to explain. However, the oppressive force brought by that huge body directly made Fengche Gion fall to the ground with a fart. Yamato reluctantly stepped aside. Next second, when I saw Chi-yu not far away. You. Fengche Gion's eyes widened. With a jerk of the body, he fainted on the spot. 893 Chi-yu. Mr. Gion. At this time, Nuo Chigao woke up. Looking at this scene, she couldn't help screaming in panic. Subconsciously thought it was Chi-Yu who did something. Crucial moment. Robin stepped forward. Miss Nuo Chigao, do you know me? Robin looked closely at Nuo Chigao to attract his attention. The turbulent little heart of the village girl Nuo Chigao finally settled down. Windmill Jian wakes up. So don't be afraid, we have no malicious intentions, just passing by chance. Nuo Chigao is very familiar with the Straw Hat Pirates that her sister belongs to. You are, soothed by Robin. After listening to Nuo Chigao's narration, Robin said solemnly, all members of the Straw Hat Pirates are offering rewards. Miss Robin, you are here, so what about Nami? Nami must be fine too. Especially after the Eni's lobby incident. Not long. Nuo Chigao was stunned subconsciously, a little suspicion appeared on her pretty face. The throbbing and fear in his heart gradually calmed down. Nuo Chigao exclaimed in surprise. Robin's reward order is also one of their collections. Are you Nami's partner, Miss Nico Robin? Well, I'm Nami's partner. Advertisement Chapter 202, Sensation. Fame. Gion lands in Kokoyashi Village. Open black lens bracket subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Miss Robin, where's Nami? How's my sister? If you come back, Nami will also. Nuo Chigao had a face full of hope and anticipation. Quickly, all expectations turned into disappointment and frustration. She didn't press on, because the facts are already clear. Everyone present, she only knows Robin and Chi-Yu. None of the others are members of the Straw Hat Pirates. Nuo Chigao, don't be discouraged, Nami is an auspicious person, she has her own destiny, she will definitely. Fengche Ajian comforted him. Yes, Nami must be fine now. You're right, Mr. Chi-Yu. Robin nodded affirmatively, then looked at Chi-Yu. If you want to see that girl so much, I'll let someone look for it. Chi-Yu smiled. Real. Nuo Chigao's gloomy eyes suddenly brightened, and his complexion returned to agility. Thank you very much, King of the Sea. And I was really rude earlier. Fengche Jian bowed 90 degrees to thank him. Don't be in a hurry to thank me, I can't guarantee when I will find it. Chi-Yu waved his hand. If it is a fixed island. With the intelligence network of red hair pirates, it won't take long to lock it. It's just that the small sky island Visalia where Nami is located is a mobile sky island. His whereabouts are secretive and erratic. Especially in heaven. Even fewer witnesses. But in Chi-Yu's mind, the probability of finding it is actually not small. After all, besides the red hair pirates, he also has Golden Lion Shiki. Shiki, who is also floating in the sky, may have some clues. Okay, don't be depressed, Nami's sister, speaking of it, if you have anything or something you want me to bring, you can prepare it now. I'll bring it to you when I meet Nami later. Robin suggested. Real, thank you so much. Nuo Chigao was so excited that tears welled up in his eyes. She slapped her forehead. I almost forgot, Ms. Robin, Mr. Chi-Yu and everyone, please come to the guest room and take a rest. Nuo Chigao invited. Chi-Yu did not refuse. After preparing a sumptuous meal for Chi-Yu and his party, Nuo Chigao started to prepare a gift for his sister Nami. Fengche Jian ran back to the village immediately. Tell the villagers the news. Certainly. Advertisement. About the fact that the person who brought them gifts was the king of the sea, Jian would not spread the word. If it is true, it will be announced. I'm afraid that more than half of the people in the whole village will faint from fright. Simple lunch. Chi-Yu spent his lunch break in Nami's room. A leisurely afternoon. Chi-Yu led Robin, Khalifa and others to avoid the main road of the village. Walk and play at will on the secluded coast. Evening passed. Night fell. Accidents still occur. Even Chi-Yu has kept a low profile as much as possible. But the brilliance of the sun is unstoppable. Especially in the dark of night. The sudden attack of a group of pirates exposed Chi-Yu's whereabouts. Big, the king of the sea. Why does the Sea Emperor of New World appear in East Blue? Not good, not good. Run away. The pirates who just made a strong landing in Kokoyashi village just a second ago, wanted to plunder. In the next moment, he was already terrified by the scene he saw in front of him to the point of tears. Without the slightest hesitation, the pirates didn't even dare to beg for mercy, they ran away. Those who ran slowly were picked up by Robin, Khalifa and other girls on the spot. Those who ran fast were also cut in two, and the ship was destroyed. The actions of Chi-Yu and others are clean enough. However, the voices of the pirates are too loud. This still alarmed the villagers of Kokoyashi village. Ever since, just as Fengche Jian expected, the gathered villagers were more than half fainted on the spot. To this, Chi-Yu was also helpless. Had to take all the girls back to rest. The rest of the aftermath will be handed over to Fengche Jian. After resting for a day in Kokoyashi village, Chi-Yu set off again. Carrying the village's longing for Nami, we headed for the next destination. Chi-Yu left. However, this peaceful village will not be ordinary in the next period of time. Because there were lucky survivors among the pirates last night. As these survivors spread intelligence, all the pirates in East Blue know about it. Kokoyashi village is the territory covered by the King of the Sea. No one dares to attack again. As for why Chi-Yu is covering Kokoyashi village, no one knows. But it can't stand someone's guess. Reminiscent of the specialty of Kokoyashi village. Advertisement. Gradually, The rumor that the tangerines in Koko Yasi village are a delicacy that even the king of the sea praises is gradually spreading. This is also destined to skyrocket the value of oranges in the village. The sun was setting. There is an orange grove on the back bank of the village. Nuo Chigao, with short blue hair, is still working hard. Nuo Chigao, what are you doing with such carefully selected high-quality oranges? Isn't Master Chi Yu already gone? Fengche Jian asked. Nuo Chigao shook her head. Actually, Master Chi Yu once asked me to prepare some oranges for the guests who will come next. Guest? Who? Fengche Jian was puzzled. Nuo Chigao shook her head. Their doubts were solved early the next morning. Mr. Jian, something is wrong. Marine's vice admiral is here. A villager hurriedly reported. Nani? Fengche Jian was shocked, hastily came to the port. Are you the village chief? I heard that Chi Yu, the king of the sea, once visited you. Gion brushed her hair by her ear, and let it pass calmly. Are you the guest Master Chi Yu mentioned? Nuo Chigao plucked up her courage and stepped forward to ask. Okay. Great Zhao. Gion raised his eyebrows. Gentle waves lapped the sand. On the reef by the sea. Gion sat casually. Under the sunshine, the perfect curves are revealed. It's really delicious, your oranges. Gion nodded approvingly. Thanks. Nuo Chigao smiled happily. Your place is Kokoyasi village. Gion seemed to have thought of something. On that day, while intercepting Chi Yu who came back from the Baituan. She had heard the name of the village from him. Well, Gion Vice Admiral, is there a question? Noki asked. It's nothing, it's just that something happened in your village before. Gion asked. Nuo Chigao's face darkened slightly. Gion pursed his lips, and understood. If you don't mind, can you tell me in detail? Yes, Gion Vice Admiral. Head. Advertisement Chapter 203 East Blue Windmill Village. Sabo returns home. Open black lens bracket. Subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. East Blue, Sea Restaurant Baratie. At this moment, the atmosphere was tense. A huge fish-shaped restaurant. There is one and only one table of guests. Restaurant chefs. All of them are hiding behind doors and corners, peeking at the guests at the only table. His body trembled uncontrollably from fear. This is extremely rare for the chefs of Baratie. Known as the Battle Chef Restaurant in East Blue. Baratie is famous for its delicious food. Also known to the East Blue are the mighty battle chefs. Under the training of head chef Redfoot Zapu. The chefs here are all talented. Ordinary pirates can't make any waves in their hands. Even if it is marine, if there is trouble here, these thorny chefs will not be used to it. It must be punished with a fist and a hammer. However, today is an exception. They really didn't dare to offend this person who came to their restaurant suddenly today, and they couldn't afford to offend him. Why do big figures of that level come to our side? It hasn't been long since the Summit War. Why did the 817 King of the Sea appear in East Blue? You ask me this kind of question, how would I know? I just pray that the King of the Sea will be satisfied with the dishes we prepared. Otherwise, we, Baratie, are really in trouble this time. Such a terrifying big pirate can destroy us with just a single sneeze. Baratie's combat chef said tremblingly. What are you all gathering here for? If you look at it any further, it will cause trouble for the guests. At that time, even the gods will not be able to save you. The one-legged old man wearing the chef's tall hat and the red-footed Zapu majestically stopped drinking. Yes, extremely sorry. The chefs didn't dare to stay any longer. They hurriedly returned to the back kitchen, nervously waiting. Repelled the ineffective subordinates. Redfoot Zap cleared his throat. Immediately put on a warm and hospitable face, pushing the cart forward. King of the Sea, is today's meal still to your liking? Redfoot Zap bowed respectfully. It's delicious, it's really delicious. CJDD, Yamato couldn't stop screaming. As expected of the restaurant that cultivated Sanji. Robin smiled slightly. Advertisement. Delicious. Sabo gobbled it up disregarding his image. As you can see. Chi Yu nodded. Hoo. It's great that everyone can enjoy eating. Red-footed Zap had a flattered expression on his face. Then please enjoy this dish next. Zapu offered the special delicacies on the trolley. The lid lifts off. Instant fragrance overflows. The light shines. This is a dish that lives up to its name. As for its creators. Of course not the red-footed Zap. It was Chi Yu who had quietly gone to the kitchen during his break. As for why sneaky, the reason is also very simple. If Robin, Khalifa and others know that he still has such skills. I'm afraid that in the future, I will have to make a noise and ask him to serve 3 meals a day. Chi Yu's handicraft is too much to eat once in a while. Otherwise, I'm afraid the girls on board will gain weight in a short time. A meal, from 5 to 7 in the afternoon. Even Khalifa who was clamoring to lose weight. Today, I made an exception and ate one bite after another. Yamato, Koala, Sabo and others praised while eating. Hearing this, red-footed Zap couldn't help but feel ashamed. Responded while wiping sweat. Such a peerless delicacy was not made by him, but by Chi Yu. Not just the most powerful. Even the cooking skills are so superb. Zapu couldn't think of any adjectives to describe the shock in his heart. 7:15. The aftertaste of the girls is over. They all returned to their boats, ready to sail. Zapu, another dish, you can help me keep an eye on the heat. About tomorrow, if someone comes to me, you can give it to her. Chi Yu gave a last word of advice. Yes, because of Poseidon. Zapu respectfully responded. The sloop Sheep Meili set sail again and headed for the destination. At noon the next day. Advertisement. Gion Vice Admiral of Marine, this is what the guest ordered me to leave for you yesterday. Red-footed Zapu delivered the exquisite dashi dish that had been boiled for nearly a day and a night to Gion. Gion picked it up and took a sip. The originally dim eyes suddenly brightened. His face, which was as cold as frost, also warmed up for it. Humph. Don't think you can buy me off with just one dish. Gion snorted arrogantly. Wait, if you are caught up by me, you will definitely want to look good. East Blue Goa Kingdom. This is the country known as the most beautiful and cleanest in the East Blue. It is also Chi Yu's destination after leaving Kokoyasi village. Certainly, Chi Yu's real target is not the decaying Goa capital. It was a small village on that same island. Goa Kingdom Windmill Village. At first glance, it's just a small, ordinary village in East Blue. However, this village that is so ordinary that it cannot be more ordinary has produced many extraordinary people. Marine legend Vice Admiral Hero Monkeyed Garp, Revolutionary Army Leader Monkeyed Dragon, One Piece Sun Potter Casty Ace, Future One Piece Monkeyed Luffy. That's where it all started. Hometown of Destiny Child Straw Hat Luffy. It is also the hometown of the blonde boy who is now traveling with Chi Yu. Come here. Then let's see if we can help Sabo recover some memories. Besides, Chi Yu actually has another important purpose. That is the Kanban lady of the only tavern in Windmill Village. That green-haired woman named Makino. Of course, there is no interest in Murakami Makino. The main purpose is to explore whether there is any unknown connection between Makino and Red Hair. In Chi Yu's impression, the captain of the family who is not interested in women seems to be having an affair with Murakami Makino. And 2 years later there was a sun. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The sun was shining. Chi Yu and his party landed in East Blue Windmill Village. I am back. Sabo exhaled and whispered to himself. A look of nostalgia unconsciously appears on the face of the sun. Sabo, what's wrong with you? Koala tilted his head in confusion. Nothing. Sabo waved his hands quickly. Advertisement chapter 204 Are you Sabo? Makino was moved to tears. Open black lens bracket subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. It's like a windmill village isolated from the world. It is a peaceful, calm village filled with happiness and tranquility. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Most of the people in the village are still working outside. Occasionally on the road, a few naughty children can be seen curiously observing Chi Yu and his group of 6 strangers. 5 minutes later, they brought everyone to the only tavern in the village. The tavern was quiet at this point of time, without a single customer. The tables in the tavern have also been cleaned up. Girl, give me 2 glasses of rum and 4 glasses of juice. Chi Yu opened his mouth, waking up the proprietress who was dozing on her elbows at the side of the bar. Okay. Makino, the proprietress of the tavern, woke up with a start, turned around in a hurry, wiped the drool from the corner of her mouth, and then took a bottle of rum from the shelf. Guest, would you like to add? Makino turned around and looked at the customers who entered the store at this time. For just a moment, the expression on Makino's face was frozen and dull. But it wasn't that he recognized Chi Yu. Her gaze was firmly locked on Sabo from the very beginning. The beautiful pupils dilated, but she didn't even notice that the wine bottle in her hand had dropped. Sabo, are you really Sabo? Makino, a green-haired girl wearing a turban patterned with royal circles, stared at Sabo unblinkingly with big teary eyes. Hearing Makino call out Sabo's name, Koala was the first to exclaim. Ma'am, do you know Sabo? Makino covered his mouth and nodded heavily. Koala's beautiful eyes widened, her face full of surprise. I thought today was just a visit to the hometown of the leader, Mr. Long. Advertisement. The result was unexpected surprises. It's actually related to Sabo's lost past. My name is indeed Sabo, but who are you, sister? I think I should know you, but why can't I remember? Sabo held his head in his hands desperately. I just felt that something in my mind was about to jump out, but it still couldn't succeed. This feeling makes people go crazy. Sabo, what's wrong with you, Sabo? I'm Makino, why don't you remember me? Makino stepped forward and looked at Sabo anxiously. Snapped. Chi Yu gave Sabo the back of the head to reset his chaotic thinking. You are. Only then did Makino turn his attention to Chi Yu and the other girls who led Sabo to appear. When he saw Chi Yu's face, Makino felt his head boom. This face. How could she not recognize it? However, she is also a village flower, but Makino's ability to withstand stress is better than Nuauchi. Even though he recognized Chi Yu's identity, he didn't faint from fright on the spot. It's just in her own nature. It is also related to her contact with many big people. And most importantly, Makino knows. This man, who is rumored to be as terrifying as a ghost in the outside world, is a member of the Red Hair Pirates and a close partner of Mr. Shanks. Since he is Mr. Shanks' partner, he must not be a bad guy. So Makino quickly calmed down. His attention was soon drawn to Sabo, who was drooping his head, with a face of pain and struggle. Mr. Chi Yu, why are you here? And why is Sabo with you? What happened to Sabo? Why doesn't he remember me? Ask for flowers. Advertisement. Makino asked anxiously. Don't worry, Miss Makino, if you want to know anything, just ask Koala. Chi Yu pointed to the dazed Koala. After saying that, Chi Yu went straight to the bar. Start bartending yourself. Miss Koala, do you know what happened to Sabo all these years? Makino asked expectantly. Oh. Koala regained consciousness belatedly. 10 years ago. It was 10 years ago. There is no mistake, Sabo is not dead. Sabo really is not dead. Makino nodded heavily. Sabo is also Luffy's big brother. Makino was so excited that he was about to cry. Makino nodded heavily. Yes, Sabo is like my little brother. Miss Makino, what is the relationship between you and Sabo? Is this Sabo's hometown? It's not just me, Miss Robin over here, you are Luffy's partner. Makino recognized Robin. Koala just told Makino everything he knew. However, I heard from Mr. Long that they rescued the seriously injured Sabo in East Blue one day 10 years ago. Robin sat down at the bar, held a glass of cocktail, and started watching the 8 trigrams mode. 0. Do Sabo and Luffy know each other? Robin nodded, with a thought. I met Sabo almost 8 years ago, and Sabo had already lost his previous memory at that time. Advertisement Chapter 205 Sabo is also Luffy's big brother, Ace's brother. Open black lens bracket subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Sabo is also Luffy's big brother. Makino revealed the secret as a matter of course. Hey. Following Makino's words fell. There was a sudden exclamation in the tavern. Sabo is also the big brother of the Straw Hat Boy, so does that mean he is Ace's brother? Yamato's eyes widened like copper bells. Makino nodded. Sabo is he also the son of One Piece? Khalifa froze in shock. No, Sabo, Ace, and Luffy are sworn brothers who have no blood relationship. Makino waved his hand and explained. That's how it came from. 1, 2, 3. It really freaked me out. Koala, Yamato and others nodded in understanding. Robin's gaze quietly fell on Chi-Yu at the bar, looking at Chi-Yu's calm and composed expression, without the slightest surprise. Robin couldn't help narrowing his beautiful eyes suspiciously. Mr. Chi-Yu, did you know about it a long time ago, that's why you brought us here? Robin asked quietly. How come? Chi-Yu smiled slightly. Luffy, Ace, Sabo murmured these 2 familiar names dully. I just felt that something was about to rush out from the depths of my head, and it began to ache again. He remembered. After the Summit War, when I saw the shocking report. What he cares about is not the resurrection of One Piece, nor Chi-Yu's astonishing achievements. It was the 2 teenagers who were about his age. Intuition told him that he must meet those 2 people. Advertisement. It's okay, Sabo, don't worry, you will definitely remember, everyone will wait for the day when you recover. Seeing Sabo with a painful expression, Makino quickly hugged him, crying and comforting him. If it was in the past, being hugged by a beautiful girl like this. Sabo's face was already flushed, and his head would unconsciously be dreaming. But now he has no idea at all. I just feel that Makino's embrace is so warm. Even as a sister. Children, don't panic. With the village chief and grandpa here, no one dares to be presumptuous. I want to see who has eaten the heart of a leopard and made Makino cry today. At this moment, an old man's voice came from outside the tavern. Surrounded by a group of children who were curious about Chi-Yu and his party, Upslap, the head of Windmill Village, pushed open the door of the tavern aggressively. Waiting to see the picture of Makino holding a blonde young man crying, the village chief Slapdang was dumbfounded. Makino, you are. Village chief grandpa. Realizing that Slap was coming, Makino let go of Sabo and wiped the tears from the corners of his eyes. Grandpa village chief, look who's back. A big smile appeared on the corner of Makino's mouth, and he turned Sabo who was still in a sluggish state. This boy is. The village head, Slap, squinted his presbyopic eyes for a long time. Sasa, Sabo. Slap uttered an unbelievable cry of surprise, his old body trembling because of the excitement of surprise. With Makino's support, he didn't fall down. Dang lang. Chi-Yu made a glass of wine and asked Koala to deliver it in front of Slap who was shaking with shock and excitement. Old man, drink a glass of wine to calm down the shock first. Koala rode. Thanks. Slap, who hadn't had a drink for a long time, didn't refuse this time. Pick up the glass and drink it in one gulp. However, before he could swallow, the village chief Slap finally noticed the other people in the tavern. And Chi-Yu who looks like a bartender at the bar. Immediately, those old eyes widened. Advertisement. Even more intense emotional fluctuations were revealed on his face than when he saw Sabo before. Puff. A mouthful of rum that he didn't have time to swallow spewed out. You. The village chief, Slap, was frightened, pointed at Chi-Yu tremblingly, and stammered, and you didn't know why for a long time. Grandpa village chief, Mr. Chi-Yu is Mr. Shank's partner, he must not be a bad person. And this time Sabo was also brought by Mr. Chi-Yu. Makino quickly explained and reconciled. Soothed by Makino. The little heart of the village head, Slap, who was on the verge of stopping, finally calmed down gradually, and he sat down tremblingly. Hear Makino tell Sabo's story. After learning that Sabo had forgotten everything about the past because of the shelling incident 10 years ago. Slap no longer blamed Sabo, but instead felt distressed. After continuing to sit in the tavern for about half an hour. Okay, I'll go too this time. Ahead, a wooden hut appeared in everyone's sight. Then let's go together. From the Windmill Village to the Corpo Mountain. There are many obstacles along the way. Sabo's memory is still fragmented, unable to remember more. He also wanted to see the moment when Sabo regained his memory. Makino cheered him on. Sabo nodded. Chi-Yu and his party climbed Mount Corpo. Bandit Dayton's family has arrived. Sabo, let's go to Mount Corpo now. After we meet Miss Dayton and the others, we may be able to remember more about 5.1. But with Chi-Yu leading the way, everything is different. They may even be attacked and eaten by wild animals in the middle. Just before sunset, Chi-Yu said. Village head Slap said. Advertisement Chapter 206 The excitement and shock of Bandit Dayton's family open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Mount Corpo. This is a continuous primeval forest on the island where the Kingdom of Goa, East Blue, is located. The owners of Mount Corpo since ancient times, apart from countless beasts, are the bandit leaders who occupy the mountain as kings. Just because of that incident 11 years ago. The reason why Ilkuma, the big bandit king, kidnapped the grandson of the marine hero Garp and nearly killed him in the sea. In a fit of rage, Garp, the returning marine hero, cleansed all of the guest hills of Mount Colpo. Up to now, the only ones who can still occupy the mountain as king are the Bandit Dayton family who were related to the hero Garp. 5-page M. The bandits who went hunting in the mountains and went to the kingdom to do business came back one after another. There was thick smoke coming out of the chimney. On the open space outside the house, a strong man in overalls wearing a coxcomb headdress is sweating and chopping firewood. Some moment, suddenly a cool wind blew through the mountains and forests. The sweaty coxcomb-headed burly bandit Magula squinted his eyes comfortably. But he didn't realize a group of people appeared not far behind him. Is this my home? Looking at the familiar hut, Sabo couldn't help murmuring in a low voice. Yes, Sabo, this is the place where you lived with the three brothers Luffy and Ace before. I will accompany you to look around, maybe you can remember something. Makino suggested. Sabo nodded. After a while, they came to a big tree. There are 3 marks of axe gouging on the tree, which have not healed for more than 10 years. Sabo put his hands on the tree, and a few blurry fragments flashed in his mind, as well as the laughter of children. This is where you compared your height with Luffy and Ace. The shortest one is Luffy, and the tallest ones are you and Ace. Makino explained. Okay. Sabo still just hummed and nodded. At this moment, Magula, the dull, coxcomb-headed man who was in charge of chopping firewood outside the house, finally realized the existence of Makino. Miss Makino, why are you here today when you are free? The crest bandit recognizes Makino. However, when his eyes fell on the blonde young man Sabo, the expression on his face suddenly froze and his pupils widened. Advertisement. Oh. The coxcomb bandit Magula unconsciously screamed like a rooster crowing. I'm going to die, you won't even be able to chop firewood, it's already afternoon, and you're still beeping. The bandit Dayton, who was awakened by the sound of the Jigwantu bandits crowing, went out angrily with his slippers. My old lady was woken up by you after a long sleep, let's say, I want to wear some slippers today, but I still don't want to eat. Oh. The Jigwantu bandit pointed behind Dayton. You pay it back. The wide and fat, king of fighters, Dayton was about to fight. Miss Dayton. Dayton paused at Makino's voice. It turns out that Makino is here, no wonder this B********** D has been O. Bandit Dayton stopped abruptly in the middle of his words. Because she also saw the blonde youth next to Makino. What? Then there was a long cry. What happened? What happened? Boss Dayton, don't be afraid, I'm coming. The scream from Dayton alarmed all the bandits in the house. Everyone filed out and stood behind Dayton. Wait until you see Makino and Sabo next to him. The expressions on the faces of all the bandits froze in unison. Sabo. The astonishing sound waves spread in the mountains and forests, startling groups of flying birds. Are you Sabo? Are you really Sabo? Sabo, you're still alive. It's great that Sabo is alive. The bandits headed by Dayton shouted in surprise. Advertisement. Hearing the cheers of the bandits, Sabo's eyes turned red unconsciously. Although he still can't recognize these people. But I don't know why, after seeing them, because of my mind, I unconsciously felt no thoughts and moved. Miss Dayton, let me tell you the details, actually Sabo. Makino opened his mouth and told Sabo about his current state of amnesia and the possible way to restore his memory. How so? Sabo lost his memory. Even Luffy and Ace forgot. How cruel. No wonder Sabo hasn't come back all these years. Damn, it's all because of the celestial dragons. The bandits were all filled with righteous indignation. But Sabo is still alive, and being able to come back here is already the best thing. The ferocious old woman with a cigarette in her mouth now showed a bright smile like a chrysanthemum. While smiling, the tears could not stop falling. Woo, that's great. It's great that Sabo is alive. The little bandit Dogula who informed everyone about the bombardment of Sabo 10 years ago burst into tears of joy. Yeah, being alive is the best thing. The problem of memory must be solved. If Ace and Luffy knew, they would be so happy to find North. The bandits immediately became happy again. Oh. At this moment, Magula, the rooster-headed man, suddenly crowed like a rooster. A pair of eyes widened like copper bells. At this moment, the tall body couldn't stop trembling with fear. I'm going to die. The rare emotions have been interrupted by you. Bandit Dayton was dissatisfied. However, when he turned his head, he followed Magula's line of sight. I saw Chi-Yu and his party under the tree not far away. Bandit Dayton's huge body also stopped suddenly. Ah. Ah ah ah. Advertisement Chapter 207 Yamato's private server. Chi-Yu's secret service. Open black lens bracket subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Ah. Ah ah ah. Bandit Dayton's uncontrollable yell exploded. A pair of old eyes widened like copper bells. The body was shaking like chaff. Boss, what's the matter? Big sister head, what are you looking at? Hey, there are other guests, those people are. Ah ah ah. More and more bandits noticed Chi-Yu and his party under the tree not far away. Ever since, people panicked and shouted one after another in an instant. 555, 5 emperors. No, it should be the king of the sea. Why would such a big person appear here? I'm going to die. Bandit Dayton and his gang screamed in shock and horror. Unable to accept the fact that the legendary king of the sea, the strongest man in the world suddenly appeared before his eyes. HMPH, flustered, it's really outrageous. The old village chief Slap's crutches made a bang bang, and he shook his head helplessly. That, Miss Dayton, everyone, don't be afraid. Mr. Chi-Yu was not a bad person, this time he brought Sabo back together. Immediately, Makino explained concisely. After listening to Makino's reassurance. The panic of Dayton's family finally eased. But the expression looking at Chi-Yu was still weak, fearful, full of awe. After all, no matter how kind the appearance is, Chi-Yu is the most intimidating man in the world. Boss, I'm going to prepare food. I'm going to prepare some wine. Go to help. The depressing bandits who really couldn't stand being in the same space as the overlord hurriedly found excuses to run away. The bandit Dayton was left alone in the wind. Ha ha ha, I'm really sorry, Chi-Chi. Master Chi-Yu, my subordinates are all useless guys backquote. Dan smiled awkwardly. Never mind, you just do what you want, I'm going crazy. Advertisement. Chi-Yu waved his hand nonchalantly. The dinner party passed in a mixture of joy, excitement, shock and panic. After letting the subordinates clean up the mess, Bandit Dayton hurriedly set up a tent in the yard. Of course, this was not set up for Chi-Yu and his party, but for themselves. Big people like Chi-Yu naturally want to live in their huts. Kind regards to the Dayton family. Chi-Yu declined. After all, even the bandits are outside. The hut is already filled with their aura. Chi-Yu doesn't care. It's just that girls like Khalifa and Koala are not quite used to it. So immediately, after leaving Sabo to continue the memory recovery experiment, Chi-Yu took the girls straight to the capital of Goa Kingdom. About an hour later, Chi-Yu led the crowd through the dense forest and the terminus of uncertain objects, and arrived at the capital of King Goa. This class-clear country. Of course, ordinary people cannot pass through the barriers of various class gates smoothly. But as long as you have money, everything is not a big problem. Another half hour. Chi-Yu and his party settled down in a high-end hotel on Zongshin Street. Early the next morning, in the oversized bathtub in the room, I simply washed the sweat stains on my body. The four girls put on their beautiful clothes and went out, and began to go shopping and play together. There was also a small episode during the period. That is Yamato, who plays Odin, insists on not changing his kimono. However, under the joint lobbying of Robin, Khalifa and Koala, Yamato changed from his usual kimono for the first time 18 years ago. Put on the private server of an ordinary girl. As soon as he showed up, he surprised the audience. At first for their new image, Yamato was still a little shy and uncomfortable. But after getting a positive nod from Chi-Yu, Yamato's pretty face suddenly showed a look of joy. Immediately accepted his new image, happily went shopping with Robin and others. Advertisement. From morning to noon, the girls who returned with big bags and small bags returned to the hotel. Every pretty face is full of satisfaction and unfinished. Beside this there is, Mr. Chi-Yu, we are being followed. Yamato quietly slipped to the side of Chi-Yu who was resting in the hotel, and said solemnly. On the way shopping earlier, Yamato's observation Haki was keenly aware of the secret spying. It's just that seeing Robin and others so happy, she didn't speak. Going back to the hotel to discuss with Chi-Yu. Chi-Yu just nodded calmly. No surprises, because the other party has already followed them. At this moment, Chi-Yu's observation Haki is targeting the dark mice. Miss Yamato is so cunning. Koala found Yamato who was whispering to Chi-Yu, and immediately held back his mouth with a bit of taste. Robin and Khalifa, who were sorting out the loot, also came after hearing the news. Look at Chi-Yu, look at Yamato. One last look at Chi-Yu's righteous arm caught in front of Yamato. As the original CP9, she is the only one who follows others, and no one else follows her. No, please don't get me wrong, it's actually. Khalifa's pretty face was slightly cold. My skills have really regressed, and I haven't even discovered this. Yeah, it seems that because Mr. Chi-Yu is here, we are too relaxed. Koala couldn't help being startled. For her who has 20 years of escape experience. The eyes of the two women could not help but narrow slightly. Guaranteed to complete the mission. Robin also shook his head with a wry smile. Yamato waved his hands awkwardly, and quickly informed his Li Wanghao discovery. Then I'll leave it to you to find it yourself. I look forward to your performance. Yes, the reason can only be that the life covered by Chi-Yu was too comfortable. Before it was changed, it was impossible not to discover other people's stalking. Chi Yu smiled. Grave. When they learned that they were followed all the way before. Advertisement Chapter 208 The Little Girl's Revenge. From morning till night open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Robin, known as the son of the devil, has 20 years of fugitive career. In the dark world, he is best at reconnaissance and counter-reconnaissance. Khalifa, the former world government CP9 superwoman. To urinate is to accept various trainings from the world government. In undercover, espionage, assassination, will be excellent. Koala, a girl from the Revolutionary Army. During the 8 years in the Revolutionary Army, he was responsible for the intelligence and investigation business. X. The 4 girls who are now following Chi Yu. None are fuel-efficient lights. Robin, Khalifa and Koala are all good agents. As for Yamato, he can act as a hot-blooded girl thug. A dark place that no king of Goa knows. An anti-hunting operation is underway. At dusk, the mission of the outstanding female agents is over. The information you want to know is basically known. Boom. Khalifa kicked up. The bloody high-heeled shoes kicked on the temple of the last living 790 stalker. Kick it over 10 meters and kill it with one blow. Go back and return to life. Robin clapped his hands. A group of 4 returned to the hotel. In the luxury suite. Chi Yu was only wearing a white bathrobe. Cross your legs, close your eyes and meditate. Pata. The door opens. 4 girls filed in. Advertisement. Thanks for your hard work. Chi Yu nodded with a smile. Really, those guys, even if they overestimate themselves, there must be a limit. Khalifa grumbled and kicked away the bloody high heels. The yuzu wrapped in fine silk taps the ground lightly. The figure jumped up lightly, and landed precisely in Chi Yu's arms. Khalifa, whether it was before or in the future, is the property of Mr. Chi Yu alone. No one else can think about it. Whoever thinks about it will die. Khalifa said coldly and domineeringly. Chi Yu smiled slightly, and raised his hand to touch Khalifa's blonde hair. Immediately, his eyes fell on Robin. Robin nodded knowingly. The instigator behind the stalker this time is Duke Arielk, the first nobleman under the king of Goa Kingdom. Robin rode. Arielk, what kind of rotten fish and rotten shrimp is that? Chi Yu raised his eyebrows. Duke Arielk III, in addition to his status as a great nobleman in the Goa Kingdom, he also has another identity, an arms dealer in the underground world of East Blue, who is in charge of nearly half of the underground arms business in East Blue. The Arielk family was already on the verge of decline, but after Arielk III took over the family, with his extraordinary means, the status of the family rose rapidly, and at the same time, he maintained good relations with nobles and wealthy businessmen from all over East Blue. Alilk III had 18 daughters in total, but none of these 18 daughters was his own. Many people say that he is very loving, and likes to adopt little homeless girls. Especially those girls who have performed well since childhood and have extraordinary looks. But what is interesting is that those girls who were favored by King Alilk III, their originally happy families, will suffer drastic changes in a short period of time, making them orphans. At this time, Alilk III will appear, adopt them as a savior, give them the best aristocratic education, train them, CJBH, to be the most outstanding noble girls, and finally use them as political marriages to maintain him network of relationships. Quote. Robin recounted the information he had heard. What kind of love is there? It's clearly a wolfish ambition. Yamato said angrily. Those girls adopted by him originally had happy families, but he was behind the scenes. And those girls, the girls too. Koala's expression darkened slightly. Just a few days ago, Alilk's 18th daughter died in an accident. Unfortunately, a grand gathering of underground forces happened to be held in his mansion these few days. That's why Arielk sent a lot of eyeliners to watch tourists from overseas. We are not the only ones being targeted. Advertisement. Robin spread his hands and explained why they were being targeted. Based on this premise, it is understandable that the 4 of Robin will be targeted. After all, the 4 of them are all peerless beautiful girls who were 1 in a million. The story is over. The huge hotel room fell silent. Master Chi Yu, what shall we do next? Khalifa, who was lying in Chi Yu's arms, nodded slightly. What to do, as I said, this time is your task, and it's all up to you to decide. Chi Yu smiled slightly. How do you say, are you going to take revenge next? Certainly, Khalifa said as a matter of course. 10 years is not too late for a gentleman to take revenge. Robin smiled teasingly. Alas, but finally got up obediently and put on the high heels again. As expected of Miss Robin. Khalifa looked reluctant. Koala made a fist, without waiting for what Yamato said. 4 Secret Service girls set off again. That's it, absolutely can't let that be D do whatever he wants. Robin spoke suddenly. Then Khalifa, you are almost ready to get up from Mr. Chi Yu, it's time for us to go. Robin rode. What, Robin, you said it earlier. But we are little girls, and little girls take revenge from morning till night. Yamato curled his lips in complaint. The black-bellied Robin smiled and clapped his hands. Hey, advertisement chapter 209, Rebellion in Gion. Conqueror's clearance. Open black lens bracket subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Gion, as the gathering place of the nobles of Goa Kingdom. Compared with the noisy and bustling central street, it is much quieter here. There are no shops lined up in the center street, but a large area of beautiful greenery instead. Various unknown and beautiful flower species can be seen everywhere, and the air is fresh. The ground is spotless. It is precisely because of this that the Goa Kingdom is known as the cleanest and most beautiful country in East Blue. However, behind this seemingly quiet and elegant Gaojan, there is actually a more disgusting darkness than Duanjan and the garbage station. The nobles fought openly and secretly and compared each other. The flattery and competition of the common people in Central Street. The theory of aristocratic supremacy has already taken root in the hearts of everyone in this country. The civilians tried their best, even sending their own daughters to the tiger's mouth, just to become a member of the nobles of the town. The nobles of Gaojan sharpened their heads and wanted to join the top palace. And what about the Goa royal family at the top? Of course, they also have a higher level of ambition in their hearts. That is to become a member of Mariajoy, become a world noble, enjoy the highest honor and supreme noble privilege. The kingdom of Goya, known as the most beautiful country, is rotten from the bottom up. The young Sabo saw this, so he struggled to escape. However, there are not many people with a discerning eye like Sabo who have visited the entire kingdom. Correcting the country's distorted values is precisely the job of the revolutionary army like Ryu and Sabo. Now all Chi-Yu and the girls have to do is take over East Blue, a big underground dark force. That's all. 6 p.m. The sun was setting. Night is coming. 4 girls with outstanding looks came to the entrance gate of the civilian street in the high town where the nobles lived. The well-dressed noble ladies of the Goa kingdom around them immediately showed disgust when they saw the 4 Robin in civilian clothes. Among them, after seeing the 4 of Khalifa, the male nobles showed unconcealable greed and covetousness in their eyes. 4 ladies, what are you doing here? If you want to enter Gaojan, we should not lead the way for you when we can. It's just that you also need to pay the corresponding reward. Don't be afraid, you will not suffer pain and injury, only happiness. Advertisement. Come with Earl Ben, ladies. This is your great honor. Hey, over there, don't think about monopolizing it by yourself. Give us 2. The arrogant and domineering male aristocrats bossed around one after another and spoke impatiently. Someone even extended a salty pig's hand to Koala openly. But the next moment, crash, with the sound of chains. Blood spattered out. The right arm of the noble young man who stretched out his salty pig's hand without authorization was entangled by a thorny whip. The thorns on the whip tore apart his fine clothes in an instant, piercing into his flesh and bones. Driven by the pain, the aristocratic youth in Gaojan uttered a heart-piercing cry of pain. What a noisy fly. Khalifa snorted coldly. Scoff. The whip of thorns flicked. The bloody red almost splattered in all directions. At the same time, strips of meat flew up. The entire arm of the noble youth has already been scrapped. In some places, thick bones are exposed, which is shocking. The entrance to Gaojan was silent at first. Next second. The civilians are rebelling. Come here. The period of the terrified screams of the nobles. Ask for flowers. The guards at the entrance immediately drew their swords from their waists. The patrolling guards further away also gathered for the first time. Advertisement. It came just in time. Khalifa gently stood on tiptoe, ready to step on the moonwalk to attack. Yamato clenched the mace in his hand. Koala assumed the standard offensive stance of Murloc karate. Robin crossed his hands, and the Paramesha flower fruit ability could be activated at any time. The atmosphere in the arena was tense in an instant. The situation fell into unprecedented chaos. Just when the two sides are about to clash. Cemetery. An invisible spiritual force swept all directions. Ever since, the world is quiet. The chaos at the entrance of Gaojan stopped instantly. The horrified expressions on the faces of the screaming nobles froze. Koala giggled. Then let's go quickly. His eyes turned white, and he fell to the ground powerlessly. Under the action of inertia, he fell forward. She made up her mind to perform well in front of Chi-Yu. Take the entrance of Gaojan as the center. Yamato said. Before and after is only a short breathing time. Khalifa urged. What? You clearly agreed to let us take full responsibility, but Mr. Chi-Yu is still not at ease. The pretty face is full of firmness and confidence. Only Robin, Khalifa, Yamato and Koala can stand within a kilometer radius. The guards of Gaojan came running fast like dominoes, one after another. We can easily deal with these guards. 11. Robin rode. We can indeed solve it. It's just that the commotion will be too big. If Ariel gets the news and escapes in advance, it will be troublesome. Prove that you're not just a capable secretary, but a capable secretary. Advertisement Chapter 210 Dark Agents Gather. Don Quixote's top cadre. Open black lens bracket. Subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Night is coming. Shadows fall. The castle residence of King Ariel III was still unaware of the impending crisis. Feel free to hold a celebratory banquet. The participants included the East Blue Underground Arms Tycoon Ariel III, and more than a dozen other dark bosses from all over East Blue. Of course, these so-called East Blue bosses are actually just the spokespersons on the surface. Standing behind them are giant crocodiles from the dark underground world of the entire sea. For example, the East Blue agent of Umit, the Sea King, one of the Dark Uranus who made his fortune by sea. Umit, the shipping king, controls not only the illegal underground transportation, but also the island trade on the surface. Buy the special products of a certain island, 660, at a low price, and then sell them to other scarce islands at a high price, earning a huge price difference from it. And one of the dark agents of the loan shark Lord Lufield. Nicknamed Fushin, he is doing Good deeds, on the surface to save people's money and emergencies. However, anyone who has borrowed money from him. In the end, all of them suffered from cramps and drank blood, and their families were ruined. No one can bear his usury exploitation. In addition, there are agents of the organ trafficker Gion, who specialize in the sale of human organs. Backed by the New World 4 Emperors Kaido of the Beast's underground army predators. Specialized in human transportation and trafficking. And representatives of the largest dark intermediary in the underground world. Clown Heavenly Yaksha Shichibukai Doflamingo. This time, cadres were also sent here. And they are not ordinary cadres. It was Diamante, the top cadre of the Cube Army, one of the 4 major suits. Today's new world is still controlled by the 4 emperors. If other people want to expand, they can only start from the 4 seas and paradise. The development of the big cake of East Blue has always been coveted by all parties. Advertisement. There is also the first half of the Grand Line first half of the park. In the past 10 years, the first half of the park centered on Alabasta has been occupied by the Bar Lock Works. Now the Bar Lock Works is disbanded. Locked are to go to the new world. This piece of fat naturally attracted the eyes of a large gang of crocodiles. This time, agents of dark forces from all sides gathered. The purpose is to discuss the distribution of cakes. Asterisk 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 asterisk. The main hall of the castle mansion in Ariok. A bright red soft carpet extends from the doorway, and the light of white candles illuminates most of the hall. Sitting on the elegant and expensive seat, King Alilk III held a glass of mellow red wine in his hand, with a treacherous smile on his gloomy face. He stood up and raised his glass to all present. Ha 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 ha. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for coming to the house. The gathering of the controllers of the East Blue Underground Dark World is also a good story. Ariok III opened his mouth, a glimmer of light flashed in his dark pupils. Of course, the concept of aristocratic supremacy is also engraved into his soul. It's just that Alilk III is different from the general pursuit of nobles. His goal is not the throne of the kingdom, but the king of the underground world. Not only limited to East Blue, but the king of the entire underground world of the sea. One day, the kings of the world's dark market will be on equal footing with him. Umit, the king of shipping, Luffield, the king of usury, Morgans, the king of news, Jigula, the organ trafficker. And the queen of the pleasure district Stussy, who is said to be extremely beautiful and who controls the man's paradise. Ariok III, there is no need to say more polite words, we are here just to discuss the allocation of the East Blue market. Duck Quinn, who is in charge of most of the arms market in East Blue, is covered in flesh and weighs hundreds of caddies. He, it's still the same sentence, all the sea freight in East Blue is mine. Advertisement. Sea Freight King East Blue's agent sneered negatively. HMPH, do you really think you can eat them all? The Sea King behind you is powerful, but the adults behind us are fine. What a coincidence, I also want to share in such unskilled work as sea freight. A group of agents of the East Blue Underground Dark Forces are fighting openly and secretly again in a blink of an eye. Let no one let anyone. This is also a meeting that has been held for a few days, but there is no reason for close combat. The major agents should not be impatient, peace is the most important thing. Noble Ariok III spoke to appease. Originated from the representative of the dark intermediary, Diamante, the top cadre of the Don Quixote family. A woman cultivated by Ariok, this is really not to be missed. Alilk III pointed at the photo and spoke proudly. Arms dealer Duck Quinn said bluntly. After seeing the girl's face in the photo, the eyes of the dark agents at the table lit up. If there are any good ones, let them come out now, let's play with them first. He had already recognized several of those 4 people. Since the meeting, he has been watching the show in silence, but now he can no longer be silent after seeing those 4 photos. He is very satisfied with the way Alilk III cultivated his daughter. These are the delicious appetizers I prepared for everyone. Suddenly, there was a nervous shouting sound. The eyes of all the dark agents are shining. Ariok, don't say these things are useless. For me, your only use is to provide me with good women. It's a rare opportunity, hurry up and present your treasure. The one you gave me last time was not banned at all, and it broke after a few times. Ha ha ha, it's the best if everyone likes it, but unfortunately, I don't have much time to look for it recently, but. Wait a moment. Immediately afterwards, several photos were put on the conference table. Before all the dark agents were disappointed, Ariok made a 3.6 turn. Advertisement.